6:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Injury update on Kyle Phillips from last night. Phillips suffered an MCL injury as he was taken down in the first quarter of a punt return in Minnesota. The timetable for his return is a range of 6 weeks, so probably going to miss the first week against the New Orleans Saints. Exciting week of practice for the Titans, as we learned last night on the Mike Vrabel Show. In lieu of the abandoned joint practices, the Titans opted to do something different.
Doing a little blue-white scrimmage. We had a draft. We got two head coaches. Big Terrell Williams, Big T, will be the head coach on one team, and John Stretch Stryker will be the head coach on the other team. They've drafted players. They've drafted coaches. They've drafted trainers. They've drafted strength coaches. So.
A little heavy on the volume there, Vrabes. That'll be fun, though, seeing how the teams are split up and where the draft lies. We'll discuss that just in a little bit on RKW. And the Colts have given all-pro running back Jonathan Taylor permission to seek a trade, per league sources. Other teams are now weighing whether or not to make an offer to the Colts and what fair value would be. Taylor is in the final year of his rookie contract and looking to cash in on his play. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5. The Zone.
Welcome to your Tuesday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Step right up for a fast 4 hours of radio, conversation, and violence. Whatever else transpires between now and 10 a.m., that's up to you at 615-737-1045. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville with Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh behind the glass. My name is Will Bowling. Tuesday, August the 22nd, we've got preseason win streaks ending, suspensions for college football coaches, and 5 stars committing to the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. How are we, everybody? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, good people. Happy Tuesday.
Yes.
Taco Tuesday.
Correct.
Taco Tuesday today.
It is.
Man.
It is.
It is. I feel like this week's going to be quick. Got a game on Friday.
Yep.
Yeah, lot going on this week. So let's get to it, Will, Kayla.
How many NFL players feel like they're back in high school this week? Friday Night Lights.
A lot of
Titans and Pats.
Yeah, Titans and Pats. Missing the joint practices, but hey, we still get an opportunity to get a scrimmage out of the Titans. That's insane.
Playing on Fridays, I wonder if Mike Vrabel will have his players wear their jerseys through the halls of the facility. They can sit in meeting rooms with their jerseys on and khakis.
He strikes me as somebody who doesn't usually like to go back on old times. Like, I feel like no funny business this week. No funny business for
It
Mike
probably
Vrabel.
is him. I used to love that in high school. Middle school, too, heck. I wore number 68 in middle school.
I was going to say, what was your number?
My number was 68 in middle school. I played guard and middle linebacker. No, the two unlikely positions right there. How do you be guard and also be a middle linebacker? It was fascinating. I wore number 68, and then my next number in high school was 85 because I was like, I'm not playing offensive line. I am not playing offensive line. I was number 85. And then the next year they gave me 77. So
there you go.
Wow.
Life kind of told itself. But I fought again to not play offensive line. My junior year, I played tight end again. And then coach was like, nah, we're going to put you on this offensive line. I only caught like maybe 10 passes, like 2 touchdowns or something like that. I was a blocking tight end.
So you fit in the Titan system. Perfect.
Yes, I would have fit perfectly in the Titan system.
What I'm hearing is you and Jeff Swain were one of the same.
We were.
Okay.
I would hope Ramon would be better than that.
I thought I was.
Jeff Swain wasn't a kicker, too, so you had that leg up on him.
Exactly.
Literally a leg up on him.
Literally had a leg up on him. I didn't miss any field goals either. I also didn't go further than 40 yards also. So, yeah. It was straight on boot kick is what I was doing.
6'5", 737-1045. Robert Walsh mentioned it in his update. We do have an injury update on Kyle Phillips, reported yesterday by Paul Kaharski. It is a meniscus injury.
Oof.
Not ideal.
Nope.
We will get into this morning who benefits from the roster spot that will be made available through these last couple of weeks and days of training camp. We've also got Mike Vrabel revealing last night on the Mike Vrabel show what today's practice is going to look like, and it's going to look a little bit different with no New England Patriots in town. We'll get back to the audio of that coming up here in about 15 minutes on a blue versus white scrimmage that'll be going on today at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Essentially a primer that we will give you this morning on what we are watching for and the interesting aspects of that. Ramon, from the player's perspective, how common is this towards the latter stages of camp to in the middle of preseason games? Scrimmage in the middle of the week?
I didn't think it was that common. I don't think I've ever seen it, but considering what they had planned as far as joint practices, this is something I feel like they came up with quick to try to maximize what this last week is going to be. We're still over 2 weeks away from opening weekend, so there's certain stuff that you can get away with during this time of the year in training camp that you're not thinking about in the old ways as they used to do stuff, as far as having 4 preseason games, as far as coaches just trying to have that dress rehearsal week. I think we may get into a situation where I don't know if we'll see many starters again this preseason, as far as Tannehill, as far as Big Jeff and Derek. This way you have a controlled environment to let your guys kind of let it all hang out a little bit instead of it being, in those joint practices or playing them in the preseason game. I don't think I've ever heard of this actually happening. This does kind of, I know we joked about it a second ago, this does kind of take me back to if it's not high school, then it's college. Tennessee does this often. I know Georgia does this where they have the red and white game, or there are so many inter squad scrimmages that happens. This takes me back a little bit right here hearing it. I would have never thought a team would have done it in the NFL like this and announce it too. It's kind of cool to me. I do enjoy this.
Yeah, I've covered the team for 7 seasons now. I've never seen anything like this with Mike Vrabel. So this is definitely new. And I know last year when Tampa Bay came here, sorry, not Tampa Bay, but the Arizona Cardinals, it was supposed to be a 2-day joint practice as well. That did not end up being the case. Honestly, you could probably say the first day of joint practices wasn't really full out either. So maybe in this situation, also giving some of the fans that are out there something to look forward to, because that's a part of this, right? Like training camp, a lot of the times, many fans are able to attend this because of the construction and the new building at the Titans facility. There's not as many fans that get to attend, training camp. And so when they do, I think Mike Vrabel and them still keep in mind, while it's obviously what we do for our team first, like what can we show the fans a little too? And I think this was a little salute to them, like, hey, I know probably they were looking forward to joint practices, didn't happen. So I thought this was a creative way in being able to draft your own team, and it's kind of in a controlled environment. So that's good too.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair.
Very fair. I was shocked to hear it. I really was. It was just like, what? You're doing what? Like they drafted everybody as far as coaches. Stretch getting a call on the as far as being a head coach too. That's kind of cool. And Coach Terrell gets another stab at it. I just think the fact that they had a draft all the way down to the training room, that right there sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, Rhett Bryan talking to us about this as well, and listening on the Mike Vrabel show last night. Essentially, you've got Terrell Williams and John Stryker, who we affectionately know now on First Reference as Stretch. They drafted players, trainers, support staff, like all the way down to literally like managers and trainers for this thing. I love it.
I love it too. When you think about it, like it kind of takes you back to a us versus them. Like I'd be trash talking on this one just simply because it's your own guys, and it should be fun while being competitive too. Like again, the controlled environment of what they're doing and setting it up and situational. I can't imagine. It's got to be a lot of situational football today. Red zone, backed up, just 2 minute. All of those things have to go into play. Will there be some stakes involved in this? maybe literally
I'll
Steaks
have to
or
ask
beans?
afterwards.
steaks. Like maybe we actually, the winning team gets a better meal tonight.
There might be some incentives to this. We'll have to do some reporting. I'll put on my big J journalism.
I do feel like this is the most monotonous part of training camp once you get to the end of preseason games because you're so close to football, but it's not real football still. But you want to convince yourself that it's real football, but it's just still not.
Still not.
We're so close. The last 2 weeks of August are just like, oh my gosh, please, I want to watch real football.
It is. It really is, man.
Which again, you can do Saturday here
You can.
and Friday here.
And
That's
Friday.
2 straight days of watching real football in person.
Of real football. The way they set up last night's broadcast, too, on ESPN, it felt like it was a real Monday night game.
It
too.
made the game feel bigger between the Commanders and the Ravens last night.
It did, man. And I was actually just kind of, are they having a dress rehearsal too?
They were, yeah.
Is that essentially what it was? It was kind of cool to see all of it lined up. I do think last week, this Titans and Minnesota game, like it felt like their production inside of that stadium was like regular season style. Like it really was, they had everybody on the sideline just the production of it, they had the fireworks going off. Those indoor fireworks are loud.
You could
by the
hear
way.
the foghorn all the way from Nashville. We could hear it at Geodis Park.
It was insane.
It was really loud. Okay. Again, Ramon always has to give us the
Little louder than
onomatopoeia when we mention noises. 615-737-1045. Coming up, the audio from Mike Vrabel on exactly what the Titans are going to be doing today at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. That's next on RKW. Hey, it's Will. If you are a business owner or facility manager, you have got a lot on your plate and a lot to keep up with. That can include assessing your equipment and systems, evaluating indoor air quality, outlining new cleaning procedures, or even reviewing options for implementing touchless plumbing and electrical fixtures. That's a lot, but Lead Company can help you with it all. They have been in the facility management and maintenance business for decades. So put their professional expertise to work for you today. HVAC, electrical, and plumbing, they do it all. Call Lead Company at 615-567-1000 or contact them online at leadcompany.com. Look, these folks have been in business for nearly 80 years for a reason. They're open 24/7 with 14 community locations here in Tennessee and in Kentucky and Alabama as well. And they're involved in our communities with Little League, high school sports, local events, and so much more. Give them a call today at 615-567-1000. Whether you're a homeowner or a facility manager, Lead Company is truly all you need. 615-567-1000, online at leadcompany.com. That's Lead Company, all you need.
Titans fans, Titans Ticket Thursday returns this week. Listen to 104.5 The Zone all Thursday for your chance to win tickets to see your Tennessee Titans host the New England Patriots this Friday at Nissan Stadium.
That is right, Robert Walsh, as we begin hour one here on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling with you. I'm excited to be back at Nissan Stadium on Friday.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to convince myself that this is just ones against ones.
It could be. It could be. Man, I'm getting to the point now where my own kid is ditching us on Fridays, man. High schooler. Just
you said you wanted that, though.
I do want that, but it hit now, Kayla. It finally hits. Like, okay, he's in the wild now.
Wait till he gets to be 16, and it's going to be a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, it is. I was just Friday night lights are no longer a thing. It's more like Friday night Foster's fend for yourself.
They got their friends now.
You're a poet and you didn't know it.
Didn't know it. Yeah, man. But yeah, Friday night at Nissan is going to be interesting. I do hope, though, like there is a nice crowd there. Again, the preseason is a time where you can go and just relax not relax at a preseason game, but get it for a cheaper price than what regular season tickets are, too. But Friday night football in Tennessee is a big-time thing, though, too. So
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
The only thing that always kind of makes that not as significant is like just the local high school games that are going on. I was curious, though, as to how many will really be at Nissan Stadium on Friday because both of their preseason games before this have been on the road. So that's what kind of happens every year. You either get 2 at home, 1 on the road, or 2 on the road, 1 at home. So it'll be interesting to see the crowd.
The crowd, I think, will be good simply because, well, I hope it is anyway, because it's the first one. Like, you know what I'm saying? The only one this year at home, too. So usually there's a turnout in those type of situations, though. So I'm excited to see what it's going to be like inside of Nissan. It's been my first time doing it here, too. So I got to figure that out. But much rather be on grass than that doggone turf in Minnesota.
Well,
no.
You're going to be on turf in Nashville, too.
This is turf. Now, it's what, obviously Burke Nighell told us on our show when he came on, it's a different type of turf. I don't know how much more updated it is than Minnesota's turf. It sounds like it's the latest and the greatest because they do have to water it.
Yeah.
But you'll have to give us a report in terms of standing on it for those, 3 hours or so.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it is a new turf. I'm interested to see what this is going to look like. I don't think I've ever actually walked on this style of turf
You
before.
have.
I have.
If you've been in the bubble at St. Thomas Sports Park,
I haven't been in the bubble.
Oh.
Then never mind. You haven't.
No, I haven't been in the bubble. And I know I didn't play in a stadium that had this version of that turf. I'm excited to see what it looked like.
Right.
Only one that had that hybrid stuff, I thought, was Green Bay. They had like real grass with turf threaded into the ground.
Tennessee used to do that, too, actually.
They used to do that,
in
too?
Neyland.
I did not know that,
Yeah.
Will. Yeah.
With this new turf, are they going to be able to, like my favorite is when players get tackled and they get up and they have a piece of that turf in their helmet. Is that still going to be, are we going to be able to do that with this new turf, or is it, see, that's what I'm talking about. They're taking away everything we love, and nobody's talking about it.
You're right. That is a factor of the game, Bert, where someone gets slammed into the ground with their helmet.
A little turf between the
I would leave it
helmet and
in.
the face
I would be
mask.
like the turf monster. I always thought it would be good luck if you got tackled so hard that the turf got hung in your helmet.
Yeah.
If you would leave it there, I always thought it would be good luck. But they're always picking it out, man. There's
That'd
no
have
dirt
to be
in
a
their
hard
eyes.
hit. Maybe it does happen. Maybe for the first time, they take out a chunk of that turf.
Yeah.
One thing I do love is that those pellets don't get in your shoes because I remember some of the high school turf in Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And it was so hot and those pellets would get stuck in your feet.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this? So at least the turf in the dome or the bubble, I've not experienced that. So I'm hoping that that's nowhere near the case.
I don't know which one was worse though. If y'all have actually been on the field with the helmet, like that turf in your face mask or the pellets in your eyes.
in your
Ooh,
eyes.
in the eyes.
Oh.
You got to think
No,
like they
thank you.
flare up and stuff when
Yeah.
you go to the ground like that right there. Like there's been times where after games when we played on turf, like wake up the next morning, your eye washes out a little bit. Like
Right.
I pull out like 1 or 2 pellets from my eyes. It's crazy.
That's terrible.
It is, I know, man. But I'm looking forward to see what this feels like though.
We did mention a Kyle Phillips injury, an MCL injury in Minnesota. So certainly hope that the turf here obviously is not causing things like this immediately as well. Not to say that it was just turf in Minnesota that caused that. I mean, he kind of got hit on the knee when he had that punt return on Saturday. But 4 to 6 weeks recovery timetable for Kyle Phillips.
So now we've got Traylon Burks, who's a few weeks. We've got Kyle Phillips, who's maybe 6 weeks. And then Kyrus Jackson, who I don't believe we've gotten an update on.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
So who makes the team instead now of Kyle Phillips?
Golly.
Ooh-wee.
Instead of Kyle Phillips?
Because Kyle will make it, but he'll be on IR. For the original, 4 to 6 weeks?
4 to 6 weeks, yeah. As soon as he makes a roster, they should put him on IR for the 6 weeks. I think you can bring him back, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. After that, to that point, Will, I think Reggie Roberson has an opportunity right now. Absolutely. What does Racy fall into this?
I still think, now that one of the other guys, like I had mentioned, we don't know any update on Kyrus Jackson.
Or that Colton Dowell, Kayla.
That's true, because Colton he wasn't playing.
He didn't dress. Yeah.
See, this is sticky. I mean, right now, Roberson, I would say, has a really good chance.
Yep. Reggie Roberson,
right?
Come on down.
Yeah, for
Holy
real.
Holy smokes.
Come on down.
Stage left, please, Reggie.
Do they sign someone this week to just have reps, just to have someone to throw to? I mean, I know there's guys left, like Trayshawn Harrison is still in the mix, but man, they've got 3 guys possibly not practicing, maybe 4 with Colton.
Maybe 4.
Well, guys, we are at the 1-year anniversary at the end of camp of the trade the Titans made for Dennis Daly last year.
Oh, gosh.
And I say that not to bring up bad memories of Dennis Daly playing left tackle.
We were having a nice time.
I know. But you do have a scenario now where teams will swap picks in order to get something for someone who's going to be cut in like a week.
Yeah.
And that could be the case for many wide receivers, including one who used to be here, named Corey Davis.
Yeah. I put that on social yesterday just to get a gauge.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get a gauge of the fans. The response to that was unreal.
It was unreal.
I could not believe it. I was like, okay, you guys feel either this way or that way on the situation. Most people would be okay with him coming back here. Now, it's all about the dollar bills, right? But most people were inviting him back.
And how did he get to wash and rinse and come back clean now? Like,
I don't know.
That's what's crazy about. Is it because they know what he is, or is it because they feel like they know he got more in the tank now? Like he went and grew up in New York.
Nah, this is like when you break up with a girl and you're like, oh, I could do better than her. And then you go out and you could not do better than her. You could not find someone to put up with all your issues. That's Corey Davis. And where you're like, you know what? I'll take you back, baby, if you'll have me.
Right?
I miss you so much. Please come back.
If you'll have me.
And you know he can block.
Yeah, he can
right?
block.
We all know what he did here in the blocking situations.
Incredible that's the first thing we think of.
I know.
When it comes to wide receivers.
Especially when he was first-round pick.
Right.
But what is his role going to be coming back here, though, if that's the case? He's not 1 or 2 moving forward.
I mean,
oh, no.
Yeah.
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 He's wide receiver 3.
He's wide receiver. Over
NWI.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. All right, I'm into that. It's just that I didn't know that was going to be an option, but as talented as the Jets room is, he could be a guy that's out. Corey's about to be, he's 28 years old right now, too.
Okay, so under 30.
Under 30. And then if they cut him clear out and he clear waivers, I mean, legitimately, that could be a great pickup for the Titans. But if it's a trade situation, imagine getting him back literally pennies on the dollar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're not going to trade for Corey Davis because you're not going to take on his number now unless the Jets just decide to really help you out in that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they really have much incentive to do that.
And I don't think they have much room to do that considering Aaron Rodgers' situation this year, too. Didn't they restructure him, or at least to carry money for next year even still would be a huge disservice to them.
He took a big pay cut.
Yeah,
Rodgers
he did.
did.
Yeah.
I know his cap is real low or whatever this year, too. Right. But essentially, I don't think they're willing to carry Corey's number for next year.
Yeah, Corey's base salary for 2023 is $10.5 million. His cap hit is $11.1 million. And, I mean, that we're talking about if he is traded by the New York Jets, they would save $10.5 million. I just have $666,000. It's a little demonic against the cap.
That is.
That's dead cap. So they would have to take on some of that and not save $10 million.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay.
If they release him, it's the same thing. So interesting to see what happens with that. That he's going to get sent somewhere else.
I
There's
think
no
so.
way Corey Davis is still a New York Jet this year.
You know what? And there's another guy that caught my eye this past weekend because given the opportunities, he always seems to show up.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was Mason Kinsey. Are we looking at his situation?
Are we back here again?
No, for real. I have to ask the question because you put him out there, he makes the plays. And I know it's beating a dead horse by saying, well, he does this every doggone training camp. This is what he does every preseason. I did not have this on my bingo card. But considering the shortage of what this wide receiver room is looking like, does he do enough to actually make the 53-man roster? He just is what he is at this point. Kayla, how have you ever viewed him?
It's incredible because he's literally the longest tenured guy, I feel like, in terms of every year he's back at training camp. Now he lands on the practice squad and has been called up at in different situations, but we've never really seen him play actual NFL football, right?
That's fair.
So it's a weird situation because they like him enough, like a Logan Woodside situation, right? They like him enough to bring him back every single year. They believe in him. Mm-hmm. He's a great camp body in terms of just, he's out there, he's doing things, he's helping these quarterbacks grow. He's a target for them for these, 2s and 3s. But what are you as an NFL player? Maybe they give him a shot, Ramon.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he has proven enough at this point where they're going to put him on the roster and we'll see what he does. But I just don't, at this point, I don't know if he's that guy.
Gotcha.
Right? But he's just every year you can guarantee he's going to be here in camp and he's going to be doing what he needs to do.
You said
That's
3
no doubt.
words. Great camp body. That's what it's resulting to, it seemed like.
It's really scrappy.
Tough. Really scrappy. He still has practice squad eligibility.
He's a gym rat.
Always brings his lunch pail.
He's a first in, last out kind of guy.
I hate y'all.
Yeah.
Almost like a coach's
Punches
kid.
the clock.
Grinder.
I hate y'all, man. What is wrong with you two there?
He's sneaky athletic, really.
He really is.
I know. What
He's
you
quick.
mean.
He's not fast, but he's quick.
Quicker than fast, yeah.
And now
What's
he's
your
the
favorite
emergency
white
QB.
athlete cliche? 615-737-1045.
For real. Real. Has a motor.
Has a big
A
heart.
high motor.
Y'all didn't use that one.
Mason
Come on.
Kinsey, a high motor
That's
guy.
you, high motor guy.
High character, too.
Stop.
Shows up and works every day.
Plays with a chip on his shoulder.
That wasn't my intent. Was the power?
Oh, no, you don't get to make these jokes. 615-737-1045. Who benefits the most from Kyle Phillips' absence at the wide receiver position? Does it feel like Trayshawn Harrison is kind of fallen off just a little bit? Maybe not as much momentum for him
Yeah.
at wide receiver?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. And I think it's more so like game situations, right? In the past two preseason games, we didn't see a lot of him. And that's not saying anything on him. Last game, that wasn't
It just didn't flow for him.
Yeah, the wide receivers weren't really getting
and
thrown
the
open much.
offensive play. Yes, to your point right there, Kayla.
Exactly. But I feel like this could be a big week for him, guys. If you're going to make a showing, a strong final showing, you got to do it this week. Now with the opportunities to possibly get a roster spot, right?
Yeah.
With the injuries on the wide receiver group.
Definitely.
So if you're Trayshawn Harrison, take advantage of this week.
All right. AwfulAnnouncing.com 2014 white guy code word power rankings. Number 10, lunch pail guy. Number 9, plays the game the right way.
Yep.
Number 8, this is one of my personal favorites. Good fundamentals.
Yes.
Mason Kinsey's got good fundamentals. High blank sport IQ. So high football IQ.
Okay.
We said that one. He's a winner. That's another good
There we
one.
go.
Oh, he's just a winner.
Probably leave that one out.
Number 5, gritty.
Yeah.
Fair. Great mascot. Great descriptor.
Literally.
Sneaky athletic.
Yep.
What number is that one?
That's number 4.
There we go.
Sneaky athletic is so condescending. It's crazy. Number 3, we did not say this one. He's a gamer. Gamer.
No, that's
That's like a
solid, too.
quarterback
Mason
thing,
Kinsey.
too.
He's not just coming out doing a practice. He's a gamer. Number 2, high motor. We did say that one.
High
Number
motor.
1, scrappy.
Number 1, scrappy.
Scrappy.
A high motor guy. Lunch pail is the one that's the easiest go-to of them all right there. Lunch pail guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's a list to keep for the ages. Which one do you say
Other
super
ones,
condescending?
the one number 19.
Sneaky
This is
athletic.
top 20. Number 19 is someone you'd love your daughter to date.
Oh, God. Get out. Get out. We're not going there.
That's so
Get
good.
out.
Other ones, he's cerebral.
Really
cerebral. Gym rat, intangibles, gets the most out of his abilities.
Oh, my.
Oh, God.
Weekdays from 6 to 10, we get the most out of our abilities right here on Ramon Kayla and Will.
Doing our best.
Has a lot of heart, grinder, out hustles. Someone you love your daughter today.
Date.
He's a real Wes Welker type.
Are we talking about Kyle Phillips now? Or
Got to be present to win, Robert Walsh.
Oh my gosh, dude.
A real high motor on this show this
Someone
morning.
you love your daughter to date. That's more condescending right there.
It is.
That's more like, think about when you mention certain names. Okay, Justin Jeff, dog. Okay? Got their dog in them. Big Jeff, dog.
Sauce
Right?
Gardner.
Dog. Kayla, you know him. Derrick Henry, dog. Mason Kinsey.
Oh, he's a nice guy. I think my daughter would be perfect for him to date.
All these things, we basically just listed ways that Chris Collinsworth has described wide receivers for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Now, here's a guy that you'd love your daughter to date, this guy. I mean,
Yeah.
look at him. He's come back around. I mean, Al, he's just solid.
my favorite part of PFF around draft time is when they haven't got to a guy yet, when they haven't been able to list his pros and cons. It just says, now here's a guy because of Collinsworth.
That's great.
Hey,
That's great.
hey, things that have never been said about Antonio Brown, Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, who's the one for the Vikings when they went around and said, who's the last person in the locker room you'd let date your sister? And all the players said, oh, Stephon Diggs. They immediately
really?
were like, oh, Stephon
Yeah,
Diggs.
it was so quick.
The video is
Caleb.
really funny. They're just like,
boy.
oh, Stephon. And then it goes to Stephon Diggs, and he's like, who's everybody saying? And they were like, well, they're saying you. And he
Well, you
actually
wrote-
gets mad.
Hey, that boy got that dog
That's pretty
in him.
good.
Oh, my goodness.
That's pretty good.
Faster than he appears. Coach's son was on here. This might need to be a
son.
draft. This might need to be a
We just
draft
took
that we
them
do.
all.
No,
We
just
blew it,
most
man.
cliche
That is
ways to
pretty good,
describe an
though.
athlete in a draft.
Not
Oh,
really an
that's great.
athlete.
Not really an
That's great.
athlete. Or you remember Deion Sanders with the DB, the white DB? He was like, man, whoa, that boy fast. It was like, Deion, what are you talking about? No, that boy fast. What did he just run? Like, stop, Steve Smith Sr.? Dog.
Best way to describe slot receivers on Ramon Kayla and Will. Coming up next.
Here we go.
615-737-1045. What Mike Vrabel said on the Mike Vrabel Show last night about today's practice at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Coming up next.
Want to be in Geodis Park next Saturday as Nashville SC hosts Charlotte? Then sign up for your chances to win tickets at 1045thezone.com/contests.
That is right, Robert Walsh. You can do a doubleheader the Saturday before Labor Day, a early lunchtime kickoff at Nissan Stadium between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Virginia Cavaliers. Then you can go to Geodis Park and watch NSC Charlotte. Next time the boys in gold will be at home.
Yeah.
I think many people will be doing that doubleheader.
So I have a question. How do you reset after that big matchup? Well, how do you reset, man?
I haven't yet.
You have?
No. It's tough because it feels like NSC lost a title.
Yeah.
And then like the regular season starts the next week. There's no precedent for that really. When you have mid-season championships. So it's going to be really interesting to see the way the whole league reacts, because I think that's going to be a big question mark. NSC was, now finding themselves in a much better place than they were when they went into the tournament.
Okay.
So it's better to have the tournament and have that issue versus, just continue going the way things were kind of trending for them, a month ago. I think Gary Smith has talked about the fact that they're in a much better place as a team now than they were a month ago. So he'll be happy to have that problem.
Okay.
I would think you learn a lot from something like this, and then you're going back to the MLS work because that still means something. They could still go to the MLS Cup.
Yep.
Which is a huge achievement.
They'll have more playoff games to host here in a couple months.
Coming out of this Leagues Cup, they stronger as a team?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they have their third designated player now.
Okay.
Sam Surridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was the addition they made at the end of the transfer window. So
couldn't happen at a better time then is what you're saying. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, perfect, man. That's good.
And they play Atlanta this weekend.
Yeah, it just seems like a huge like letdown, and it's not, but it was so much growth, around Nashville SC because of that. And that's all I was just wondering, like you got to have like a hard reset going into now back to league play at this point, like you playing against people like, so do you look at them and say with what you did in Leagues Cup, they should just run past like Atlanta, like the teams that they're going to play if they play Philly or?
I don't know what this Saturday will look like because Atlanta has had 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
And Nashville is not, obviously. So it's kind of the rest versus rust scenario. I don't think anybody knows what this weekend will look like in MLS because you're going to have a lot of teams joining the mix now who have been playing for weeks against sides that have been just sitting on the couch for 3 weeks.
Because it's like, what do you benefit from? Like, you have the bye weeks sometime. Mike Vrabel has been extremely successful with his teams coming out of the bye week, while other teams sometimes they kind of fall flat, right?
Yeah,
They've got to get that momentum going again. So I feel like it's always a team-by-team basis, and sometimes coaching plays into that. Sometimes it doesn't, Yeah. So in soccer, this is really interesting because that's a long period of time.
Atlanta did get back in the win column Sunday night, winning at Seattle. So they won 2-0 in Seattle, which is tough to do against a Seattle team that's not as good this year as they typically are. So they have played, but second game now for them back in MLS play. First game back, obviously, for NSC since they were in the final last week.
Okay.
So
right, for sure. I just had that question about it, man, because that was a big weekend, Will.
I was listening back to some of the broadcasts last night. I got the full archive back from over the weekend, and I almost don't recognize myself in moments. I'm like, the whole day felt like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
In a good way. Like, it was really, really cool, but I'm just like, man, it's hard to sometimes when you get so in the zone to do something like that, to put yourself back in your own shoes after the fact. So, it was cool.
Yeah, that's sweet, then.
Anyway, Mike Vrabel talking about a scrimmage today, mentions exactly the specifics on who they drafted, how they did this. This was cool, what he had to say yesterday on the Mike Vrabel Show.
Had to cancel joint practices with the Patriots. How does it change what you're going to do in practice tomorrow and also Wednesday?
Well, we've got a little surprise. We're doing a little blue-white scrimmage. We had a draft. We've got 2 head coaches. Big Terrell Williams, Big T will be the head coach on one team, and John Stretch Stryker will be the head coach on the other team. They've drafted players, they've drafted coaches, they've drafted trainers, they've drafted strength coaches. So I hope that the team enjoys it. I hope they have fun with it. We'll have 2 fields. We'll have one team stretching on one field, and we'll see how it goes.
There you go. Who was the first player taken in the draft?
Tannehill.
Got to have a quarterback.
Okay.
I got Tannehill. Yeah, I'm taking Tannehill first.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take a quarterback first. That would be Tannehill. But if I got to go with another guy, I'm going with DeAndre Hopkins.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised at all of these choices. Jeffrey Simmons is the number 1 pick?
No.
I will say he's the most important player on this team, the biggest, I think now, or close to it. But as far as building the team, I got to take the quarterback. Give me Tannehill.
Well, building a team just for a scrimmage?
Yeah. Even for a scrimmage.
Okay.
Yep. Give me Tannehill. I'd love to know. Golly, I'd love to know if that was the first pick, was Ryan Tannehill or not.
Well, think about it. Do you want a first-string quarterback or you want a second-string quarterback?
I want the first-string quarterback.
Right?
Give me the first-string.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Big Jeff knocking down the passes from the first-string quarterback.
I know, but I also would think that I can throw a screen game and let Big Jeff get upfield and run it with a running back after the quarterback throws it.
We should have asked who do you think the last pick was, but that might be a little mean.
Well, we might be going back to our original segment.
Who was the who's the first non-football player taken? Because Stretch is a coach.
John
Takahashi.
Yeah, Takahashi.
Yeah, definitely. Got to have
Nicest guy in football.
Give me John, man.
Give me John. Give me
Jimmy John.
Jimmy John. No free showers, but I do like that place when I have it every once in a while. Who is the first non-head trainer?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
Head trainer.
Okay.
Yeah, head trainer. Give me that
Todd Torselli.
Todd Torselli.
There you go.
And I want Lori Locust on my team.
There you go.
That's solid, too.
Coming up in hour number 2, your phone calls at 615-737-1045 at a eulogy for the most pointless winning streak in sports. Next on 1045 The Zone.
What's going on? 7 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. We got an injury update on Kyle Phillips late last night as Phillips suffered an MCL injury as he was taken down in the first quarter on a punt return in Minnesota. The timetable for his return is a range of 6 weeks, so it stands that he would miss the New Orleans Saints opener. Exciting week of practice for the Titans as we learned last night on the Mike Vrabel Show. In lieu of the abandoned joint practices, the Titans opted to do something a little different.
Doing a little blue-white scrimmage. We had a draft. We got 2 head coaches. Big Terrell Williams, Big T will be the head coach on one team, and John Stryker will be the head coach on the other team. They've drafted players, they've drafted coaches, they've drafted trainers, they've drafted strength coaches. So
I don't know if there's a cooler name for a henchman than Stretch. That's just cool. Colts have given all-pro running back Jonathan Taylor permission to seek a trade, per league sources. Other teams are now weighing whether or not to make an offer to the Colts and what would be fair value. Taylor is in the final year of his rookie contract and looking to cash in on his play. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Continuing your Tuesday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors right here on 104.5 The Zone with a full crew ready to go. You're Not That Guy coming up in 20 minutes, an hour early this morning, meaning that if you haven't yet gotten to your second cup of coffee, or perhaps your third, whatever your pleasure is, then maybe you are more incentivized to complain. We'll load up those phone lines at 615-737-1045. Begin the line or get in line for You're Not That Guy. You can complain about anyone on the internet, on the roads, or anything in between. Coming up in 20 minutes. We've got Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. I am very glad that Robert is here at work this morning. He's working through the pain, through the suffering of the most pointless win streak in professional sports, college sports, Pee-wee sports, anything in between, ending last night. Robert, vibe check on the Baltimore Ravens preseason win streak ending last night.
Man.
Sometimes if you love something, Will, you got to let it go. I don't know if I'm going to get over this, but I do know that I can stop caring. And when I watch preseason football, I don't have to know how many games they've won in a row or that the Commanders beat them last night, but they beat them 5 times in that streak. Oh, they really needed that win. I'm glad they got it. I just wish they would have left something for us.
24 games. It's over.
2015, I was still living in Greenville in a Roachfield apartment.
The last time the Baltimore Ravens lost a preseason football game. The streak began in 2016. I mean, legitimately, this was 8 years ago, the last time the Ravens lost a preseason football game.
And the Academy Award goes to.
Yeah, thank you. Oscar-winning moment.
You really like me.
Oscar-winning moment for Robert Walsh this morning.
That was awesome, right? That was a great cry.
That was a good cry, man.
Should we do the
cry.
Should we do the stereotypical, like, this song was number one the last time
Exactly.
this
Can we
happened
please?
in sports?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
is it really a college game day if there isn't a streak that's looking to be ended? And it's like, this song was number one. Facebook was this many years old.
Let's
Yeah,
bring it.
absolutely.
That's
we
like
should do
asking
that.
asking players their favorite side dishes on Thanksgiving in the locker room before
Oh, no, it was a terrible song.
That still happens.
Oh, goodness.
It was a terrible song. Do you guys remember, "Oh, I have found myself a cheerleader"?
Oh, that's
a
right.
terrible
Always
song.
right there when I need
What was the
her.
date again of their last preseason loss?
I put in August 23rd. That's what
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
guessing.
Okay, August 23rd. That was, oh, man, good song. Good week then. Can't Feel My Face.
I can't feel my
With
face.
The Weeknd. Yep.
That
that's
was
him.
really-
And then the 29th, the next week, was Cheerleader by Omi.
That's the
Ami?
one.
That's what Robert
That's what
was
Robert
just
was
saying.
saying.
Oh, you just said that?
The
And then-
Canadian Women's Open was that weekend.
Just like my girlfriend. You don't listen to a damn thing
Thing
I
I
say.
say. He
Not a
literally
damn
just
thing.
sang it.
I'm like, man, I'm kind of hungry. I want pizza tonight. And she's like, do you have any ideas what you want for dinner tonight? Why don't you go lay on the couch or something, girl?
Oh, dude, selective hearing is so real. So real.
Don't do Cheyenne like that, man.
And she ain't even up yet. What are we talking about?
wow. Okay.
Hey, don't talk about your sugar mama like that.
She's doing exactly what she was doing when I was crying about the Ravens loss. Sleeping.
Sleeping.
I thought you said she was your ride or die.
She be riding, but she also be
Close to death with her
Yeah.
sleep.
Oh,
I'm like, babe,
God.
look, it's a first down. Way to go, Ravens.
My goodness sakes. I do love that we are entering that time of the year in Nashville where the social calendar is built around football. Like I was having this conversation with my girlfriend the other day that like Saturdays now are going to be like, yeah, we'll like go be social, but it'd be like, yeah, let's go do this thing while we watch football.
Right.
You got to
very
set those
true.
expectations at the beginning of training camp.
You really do.
Everyone's in training.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you really do, Will. Like, you have to set up your weekends around this game, man. You got to, and guess what? If you got kid events like myself, make sure the phone is charged up or the iPad, or where will we be at? Will I have really good internet, like, connection? Like, those are the things I ask whenever it comes down to, like, football season. Those things are real.
It upsets me when you go to do stuff like this and somebody comes up to you and is like, why are you not engaged? Why are you not like hanging out with us or talking? The game is on. Y'all wanted to hang out on a Sunday at 1:00.
Yeah, no.
What am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah. I have
I
noticed.
can't be doing that thing.
No, that's what I'm
The
saying.
bars and stuff, like
Yeah.
that's good for certain events that are social with
Right.
activity going on in the background. But if I'm watching the Titans or I'm watching a game that I'm got to be interested in and cover, I cannot do that.
At a bar?
I got to be by myself or with like one other person.
What about as a fan? What level of social are you willing to be while your favorite team is playing? Like not like your favorite team out of all the sports. Like for me, like the team I'm most invested in time-wise has always been Tennessee Volunteers football. Like, are you willing to go to a watch party for a game for your team, or do you have to be by yourself for the room?
You want this one first, Kayla? Because I'm very particular.
You go. You're on it.
I'm very particular. Like, when it comes to the Vols, back porch me, okay? Back porch me. There's only a certain amount of people that can come over in those moments, too.
Yep.
I don't need people asking a lot of questions. Like, when I sit on the back porch with Savage, like, we can be fully enjoying the game and each other and not saying a damn word.
So can I ask you this?
Yes.
Because your schedule is now changing
Yeah.
with you doing Titans games, at least on the road, right?
yeah,
when you travel.
absolutely.
So how will you spend that watching the Vols on a Saturday if you're traveling or if you're already at the site?
Hotel room.
Okay.
I don't want to go anywhere
Okay.
else. That's the way I was when I was hotel room. I hated going into the lunch room where all the
Yeah.
guys were or the meals were because everybody want to talk trash. And depending on how we were doing, which is usually bad around that era, I didn't want to face anybody. Oh, my God. Walk in the room and we play Florida, the third weekend, right? And I have to hear Marquise's mouth and Marcus Gilbert and Max Starr. I'm like, God, why did I have to join this team? Like, that's where I was. And then don't lose, okay? Oh, Coach Tomlin will be all over it, mentioning it. Hey, Big Vol, what you doing? You all right? I'm like, come on, man. Don't do this, Coach T. You know what
He's
my
getting
heart
involved
is.
on purpose.
I get emotional about
Yeah.
the Vols, okay? Of
course.
So, don't put me around anybody.
Well, for me, if I'm watching the biggest event in terms of a rivalry, it's also college football with Washington State and in Washington, RIP Apple Cup after this year. However, I remember when I went back home, which is just rare for me to do, but we did a kind of an environment with a few groups of people, but I think I was the one that was like sitting right next to the TV up close. And everybody else was talking, and here's me just like up front with the big screen, just watching every single play. So if I do it, guys, in a social environment, I at least have got to be. I'll make myself the loner. Of the group.
That's fair. I'm with you on that.
You know,
Non-conference games, yes. Cupcake SEC games, yes. Big games, I either have to be at a bar with one or two other people.
Yep.
Where I'm at a bar stool right at the TV. Or I am out. And if the game becomes difficult that it's not supposed to be difficult, I will just go home and leave everyone, which happened last season. I watched the first quarter of the Pitt game with people, and when that game was Tennessee's down 14-0, I was like, hey, guys, I'm going home. And they're like, what? What do you mean the game just started? I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing this in week 2. No. Well, I'm not being this stressed in a group of people that are like, maybe we should switch bars in the second quarter. Like, no, idiot. You pick a place to go, and you sit there for the whole game, all 4 quarters, nothing shorter than that. Otherwise, I'm going to go home and stream it on my phone in the Uber on the way there.
Last year, I blew up on Jackson. He had probably been working here for about a week. It was week 3.
Don't
the
do
Ravens.
Jackson like that.
What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to? He was being an idiot. He was being an idiot.
You know what you sound like? They're serious.
Having a nice time.
I'll spend $1,200 on Pokemon cards if they're serious.
It was the Buffalo Ravens game. Ravens went up 17-0.
Ravens moved to Buffalo?
Sorry. They're playing. They ended up losing 20-17. And he came in there after I'm about to go outside and smoke 5 cigarettes at one time. And he comes in, he goes, how you doing, buddy? I'm like, oh, hell no. You got to get out of here. I am not talking to you right now.
How are you, buddy?
Oh, man. That was when I was like, I got to get this guy fired. I can't be on the same team as this dude. I've come to love Jackson. But
Coming up, we'll learn how quickly Robert said that about all of us.
I got to get this guy fired.
I got to make money off this. It's too good. Coming up, you're not that guy. Your chance to tell someone in your life what Robert Walsh told Jackson Williams not that long ago. Coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Genesis Diamonds, and people here know Genesis Diamonds as a value leader. They've proven it. You know why? Genesis is a true direct importer with connections that go back for 50-plus years. No middleman markups, no consignment fees, no third-party people to pay. But one thing people here really love about Genesis is this is where you can get her a better ring, a designer ring, a handcrafted ring that reflects how you see her. While other stores sell knockoff rings or crappy overseas rings, at Genesis, you can get her a stunning designer ring made here in America by top designers. These are rings made to last. Names like Takori and Viraggio and dozens more. Bottom line, she would proudly show off a Genesis ring. Because it won't be mass-produced ring, it will be something unique, something amazing. And don't worry about the price. Genesis will make sure you get a designer ring that fits your budget with the diamonds she will love. And the best thing about Genesis, too, the lifetime warranties. They have one of the best around. Genesis Diamond, where luxury and value come together every day. Check them out. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs. And do not forget about the all-new collection of amazing luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. It's incredible.
1045 The Zone is excited to partner with Chimney to gear up for the gridiron with giveaways that get you ready for football season. 1045 The Zone's Ron Slay will give our listeners a chance to win tickets and amazing prizes from Chimney, such as a custom fireplace, pizza ovens, and more. For more details, visit 1045thezone.com/contests.
It is time to complain about people, things, teams, athletes, anything in between in your life, whether they are or are not really an athlete. 615-737-1045 with Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh. I'm Will Bowling. This is You're Not That Guy.
See, I'm not that guy. Here, let me let you in on a little secret. Like, when I play music, I've got to drop this other pot and bring this other one up. So just
Seeing how the sausage is made.
I'm going to cut all this out in post.
Step into Robert's office and you'll see a finished sausage.
Hey, just reset it and nobody will be the wiser.
Perfect. So this is You're Not That Guy.
In the world of
Oh, no.
Yeah!
Strike two.
Let's go! I never.
615-737-1045. How you join in on You're Not That Guy. Robert Walsh now will be leading off since he's already got 2 strikes. We'll see if he gets a third right here with his complaint.
You're Not That Guy. I feel like it wouldn't be me if I didn't go ahead and just give it to the Commanders. But it's one specific commander who upset me. And he happens to be on the offensive line. Usually I am a proponent of the big boys, but Sam Cosmi of the Commanders, he said in an interview that this preseason ranking or record was stupid and that preseason games in general were stupid and they were going to snap the streak, and now that audio is being played everywhere. Well, Sam, I wish you feel like that the other 5 times that the Ravens beat you guys in the preseason and the streak wouldn't have been a thing in the first place. Also, how upset can you be? How stupid can you think these games are when you leave your entire first-team offense in through the first half, and when it takes you 9 plays to go against the Ravens' third strings to score, you do the gritty. You're an offensive lineman, and you do the gritty in your own end zone. Sam Cosmi, you got to figure it out, buddy. Hopefully this win got you what you needed, but I got to let you know that
There you go.
have fun winning 4 games.
Dang.
Oh, man.
The gritty.
That was tough. Yeah.
How
Offensive
was it?
lineman not allowed to gritty. Ramon Foster, your thoughts?
I will definitely co-sign that one. So
Okay.
that's 100%.
Was it just not good either?
I mean, Bert said it was
He looked
terrible.
like
It was
Slender
terrible.
Man.
There we go. You know what I'm
Slender
saying?
Man. We're going
That was my
back.
nickname in high school.
We need to like really just
Actually, I
box
wasn't joking that time.
our celebrations into just like spiking the ball. That's where we are.
Yeah,
offensive
I
line.
agree.
Let's just spike the ball.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
You
he
left
was-
your guys out there long enough. Terry McLaurin got hurt. De'Ami Brown got a
Exactly.
concussion. Jahan Dotson played too many snaps
He
in a
did.
preseason game.
He looked good though for somebody's fantasy team.
I'm telling you, but I'm glad it worked out for them. I hope they enjoy this win. Now they can be the Super Bowl preseason champion.
Sure.
There we go. I'll go. We'll go in order here as of the room. A little snake
Works.
draft here. Okay, so it's not a draft, but it's definitely that You're Not That Guy for me. Okay, so Barstool Big Cat, as you know, a podcaster for Barstool Sports. Will is very familiar
AWL.
with this.
Yep.
Yes. So he went to X/Twitter this week. And if you guys have been paying attention to anything on the West Coast, weather-wise at least, it has been a hurricane over there. They've gotten the most water flood kind of action in years. It's legit too. Like those streets are flooding over there in Southern California. And so Barstool Big Cat tweeted out /X'd out, friend of mine out in LA just took this picture on the 405. And yes, all news and media outlets, you have my permission to use it. Wild. So then, and this is not political, friends, so don't be coming at me, Texas U.S. Senator Ted Cruz retweeted it, re-X'd it, whatever you want to say, and said,
Reposted.
holy crap. He completely thought it was a real thing with this shark in this man-made canal going on through. And it took a minute for him to realize that dude, you're not that guy, because it's not true.
I saw that. It was a shark in the middle of the 405. And the picture's been used numerous times.
It had been reused in different hurricane situations.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You're not
Ted
that
tried
guy.
to crap on California and got burned by Big Cat. Oh, that was crazy.
That was pretty good.
It was good. Mine goes to, comes from Scoop Nashville, man. Virginia man. I will not say his name. Virginia man refuses to pay $8K tab at Barstool Sports Nashville.
What?
$8,000. The story goes, a 24-year-old man, tourist from Virginia, was jailed in Nashville Saturday because he spent nearly $8,000 on the tab on a credit card that he just kept running it up throughout the night. So when the card was run at the end of the night, it was declined or frozen. Worst part about it is him trying to be that guy said the guy told the cops he disagreed with the charges and purposely froze the card so it would not get charged anymore. This dude, 24-year-old man from Virginia, spent $7,946.05
Jello shots?
Heck yeah.
in Barstool Sports Bar. Crazy. And refused to pay the tabs. And then what's so crazy about it, in his mugshot, he's smiling about it. I just got to tell the tourists from Virginia,
Wow.
you, sir, are not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Outstanding.
That's bad.
That's bad right there.
For my You're Not That Guy, I am going to go with a player who interrupted all of our college football viewing opportunities last season, yet is on a terrible baseball team this year. That's right, I'm talking about Aaron Judge, who last week, after signing with Jordan Brand and Jumpman, recreated Michael Jordan's 6 rings portrait to announce his signing with Jumpman. Here's the problem. The New York Yankees, unlike the 1920s when none of us were alive, don't win championships anymore. This is 2023. Teams that are actually well run are the only ones that win titles. And Aaron Judge has never actually won a ring. Were all the other players that have actually won championships not available, Jordan Brand? Or better yet, could you have just put a ring pop on Aaron Judge's finger maybe and done a dual sponsorship with ring pop and Jordan? So essentially you have Aaron Judge with a Jordan Brand ring doing the same exact portrait as Michael Jordan with his 6 rings. Hey, Jumpman, guys, you guys have a big enough brand. Maybe sign players that have actually won championships if you want them to take pictures with rings. Jumpman, Aaron Judge, I say to you.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Thank you so much.
Dang.
I saw that. He had one ring on his friggin' index
Jeez
finger.
Louise.
That was kind of cold right there, man. That's tough.
615-737-1045. You're Not That Guy is continuing here in hour number 2. You can join us and complain about anyone in your life. Joey is in Cross Plains, up first with us this morning. What's up, Joey?
What's up, Joe?
Morning, Kayla, Ramon, Will. So y'all know that I lost my vision a few years back. So I'm blind in one eye and can't see out the other. I use a feature on my iPhone and on my tablet called VoiceOver.
Okay.
So as I'm scanning through everything, I come across, and I don't know why I'm targeted for this, but it pops up, follow Rush Week.
Oh, no.
I don't care anything about Rush Week.
Boom, boom.
God.
Yes, I am a college student, but I don't partake in any of that, and I don't want to hear about it. Not only is it targeted on my phone and my tablet, but then I have to listen to it for 5 days a week on the TV giving updates about it. I don't care if you're wearing Couture or Gucci or something from TJ Maxx or Kohl's or Target or where your jewelry comes from. Get that crap off my TV because you're just not that guy. Y'all have a blessed one.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, Joey.
So that's a thing now.
It is. You want to know what's
Wow.
hilarious? That algorithm has actually hit my wife's phone.
Really?
Yeah, because her sister's in college too, and it's probably her liking stuff.
That's what it is.
sending it to her. She was like, "Why am I getting all these sorority videos in my algorithm?"
And that's at a different level nowadays. Because look, I'm not gonna hate on being a sorority. I was in one, but it was not like that, folks.
I know.
It was not like that.
The recruitment videos are just
Holy.
the craziest videos
I
now.
hadn't seen
Yeah,
them.
they're all Barbie
you have.
themed.
It's bad.
Well, if you just they come up every fall. I'm just like, we're so excited you're here. And it's just 100 girls in the same high-pitched voice, like chanting and singing things. And it's just like,
It's a a different level.
I don't
now.
like that.
Don't like that.
Don't like that at all.
Poor Joey.
And all
Yeah,
you
Can't
see
get away
Joey.
from it.
behind that is a bunch of athletes looking like, man, they got a big group this year, guys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
615-737-1045 if you want to join us on You're Not That Guy. Let's go to Tim up next in Nashville. What's up, Tim?
Hey, what's up, guys? Love the show.
Thank you.
I'm doing You're Not That Girl for my daughter.
Okay.
She'd rather spend time with her friends going to the NBA Ainsworth game this Friday instead of going to the Titans game with her brother and myself.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong. I love Harper Call and all, but I want to spend family time. So, shout out to my daughter, Dylan. She's not that girl.
Oh.
Tim in Nashville. A little bit of friendly fire this morning.
Dang, Dad.
Tim trying to hold the family together, dog.
NBA
like
Ainsworth
you.
will be a big game.
Yeah, it's like me. I told you,
Yeah.
Fridays is no longer for the
Right.
Fosters, okay?
So you feel Tim?
I feel Tim on that one. Tim called him out, man. I'm with you. Golly, that's a big game, though, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Not that girl.
You know what? What's his daughter's name? Said, what was her name? Dylan? No, it wasn't Dylan.
Dylan. Yeah.
Dylan. It was
Yeah,
Dylan.
you heard
Right.
right.
Dylan. Oh, man.
Dang.
Dog, Tim, I'm
Dad?
with him. He's trying to spend some time with his baby girl. She ain't got no time for him. That's tough, Tim. I feel
It's
you.
only
on
gonna
that
get
one.
worse, Tim. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, my wife had to talk to me last night about that. She was
Dang.
like, "My baby." I'm like, "Hey, you knew what you was getting
I know.
into. You knew what you was getting into when you had these kids, didn't you?"
And boys are easier than girls.
That's what they tell us.
Sorry.
In the F&M Bank chat, a couple of submissions. Auntie Erin, always great to see her
Hi, Auntie
hanging
Erin.
out in the F&M Bank chat, says, had a kid lean over the desk and say, "What would you do if I punched you in the face?" I said, "I wish you would."
Oh, bring it.
Oh, my goodness.
Why would you ask a teacher that?
Son, you're not that guy.
That's
I
crazy.
love it. She used son.
Like,
Son.
the way we should be, like, there should be somebody in the building and go grab that kid by his collar and like legitimately squeeze and jack
Right?
him up against the window and say, you just like, I'd love to spend some time with that kid, whoever he is.
That's crazy.
I'd lose
In a
it.
very adult way to let him understand how life works. Okay?
Well, I'm not a teacher.
Yeah, I know. He deserves to get jacked up. Whoever that kid, yeah, he's definitely not that guy.
You got to fight fire with those kids. You got to find the one thing that they're insecure about,
Sure.
and really call them out in front of everybody else. As soon as you can pinpoint that one thing, children are weak, man. Kids ain't got no backbone. They can't stand up to nothing. They can dish it, but they can't take it. You just got to find that one thing. How about you pipe down, Tubby?
Auntie
And
Erin.
it's over with.
Tubby.
Auntie Erin said he sat down and didn't say a word after
love
that.
that.
Yeah, I should have said something to him like, "Hey, how's it sitting at the table by yourself at lunch, huh? Huh? You okay with that?"
You ain't got no friends?
Yeah.
Oh, that stinks. Give me that milk.
In the
Pretty good.
on Twitter at Remote Kalen Will, Terry says Will's not that guy is the lamest capitalized ever. I look at his Twitter. He's a Kentucky basketball fan.
Yankees and
Terry,
Kentucky.
you can't fit the stereotype if you're going to come after me, buddy. You cannot be a Yankees fan and a Kentucky basketball fan and expect me to respect that opinion.
He's both of them.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh man.
If he didn't like my "You're Not That Guy," I'm assuming.
I mean, golly, does he?
What are
also-
his thoughts on the Alabama football season
what
coming
I'm
up this
about
year?
to say.
Which quarterback does Terry think will be the quarterback for Alabama this year? 615-737-1045.
Probably Georgia is probably closer to him.
Terry, I'm just kidding.
No,
Thank you
but-
for listening.
Not really.
We're not kidding at all. I hope it
No,
offended
it's just-
you, every word of it.
Will's like, you're not that guy.
Well, I will apologize him for that. He came for you. You better not miss, Will. You heard
Yeah,
him.
you come with the king, you best not miss.
Heard Omar.
Omar coming.
What are you talking? Omar coming for sure. Zach Bunch in the F&M Bank chat said for sure a Bama football fan too. I mean, you got to think they got Kentucky in their state. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the state of Kentucky. That was my Tennessee degree working right there.
They got Kentucky in their
Way to
state.
go.
The football
What's wrong
team.
with you? You used to be better than that.
I'm trying to be better. I
Way to
swear to
go.
you. I'm trying. Good job. Good effort.
615-737-1045. If you want to also yell at me.
Oh, I had another one too that I saw on Sunday.
you gonna have
coming back.
two?
Yes, I got two, and I know I'll probably get some pushback on this one. But when we're in the airport, Okay.
The airport?
Airport.
Okay.
You feel me? It was my Minnesota coming out of me. And I
A
spent
whole
2
day.
days there. You feel me? A whole 24 hours. Minnesota, the airport.
The airport.
And I know, like, love at a young age is a beautiful thing.
Oh,
like,
no,
golly,
it's
it's
not.
cool.
It's an ugly thing.
It's cool, man. Like, do your thing. Okay, I'm talking like early 20s, mid 20s, that little phase right there. Like, you don't have to prolong the goodbye in the airport, okay? Like, there's people parking, trying to get around you, trying to get to the TSA pre-check, okay? There's no need for y'all to be just snuggle-uffagas in the middle of the freaking airport kissing
PDA.
and just hugging and all of those things. Like, you will FaceTime her as soon as she get through security checkpoint. I know it. And when she land, you're going to call her again. And when she goes to her destination after that flight, you're going to FaceTime her again. We can say goodbye in about 25 seconds, okay? The lingering on to the dude that I saw this weekend, she's coming back home on Monday, okay? Let it go. Let her go. Let your heart grow a little bit more. To the dude I saw in Minnesota this weekend, Bert, can you please hand him down? He's not that guy. It was just a little bit too much, man.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
That is the hand holding is fine, and whenever if you want to hold your significant other's hand, that's fine.
Sure.
But when you're blocking a walkway in a crowded place as well to hold your significant other's hand, I need you to just leave room for the Holy Spirit just a little bit.
In lieu of making out in public, I think couples should start to do entertaining things. Like if you guys could learn how to play hacky sack instead of making out, or like juggling together,
in
I would
the
be like,
world?
wow, look at this amazing couple and their incredible talents that they're sharing in the world instead of just playing tonsil
hockey.
I didn't.
tonsil hockey with each other.
You know what I'm surprised with this whole thing, though?
Gosh.
Where was security? Because they're the first. If you're there on the sidewalk waiting for 2 seconds, they're blowing the whistle. They're yelling at you to go through. Weren't they telling these folks to get gone?
Well, the dude that was the CSL guy, he was actually lying to us because the pre-check was like long for some reason. He was like, hey, you guys can actually go through the regular line.
Like the outside.
Yeah, outside, the regular line. I was just like, whoa, man, what are you talking about? I paid for pre-check, have my background. Like, I'm standing here, and plus I don't want to take my shoes off. You take your shoes off and go to the other line.
Oh, so you're talking about like in the security line, not even waiting out.
Caleb, we got kids around, man. That's all
That's
this
a whole
dude
nother
with
story.
3 baby girls, man. Why you in here doing all this affection? Move it.
That's ridiculous.
Beat it.
You are asking Ramon to take his shoes off, too, by the way. He had to get to that airport lounge, man. He had to get to that swanky-free lounge.
Who goes into TSA? Don't you just drop their you-know-what's off at the curb?
And dip. That's all we saying, Caleb. See, now you're ticked off. You know what I'm saying? I told you. That's why he's not that guy. In Minnesota.
615-737-1045 if you want to jump back in. Meanwhile, ESPN has power rankings again in the NFL. We don't advocate for caring about what national media has to say about our NFL team here in this city much, but we're just going to dip our toe in the water of national conversation. Just to see. Just see if the water's fine or not. Spoiler alert, the water is not fine on what national media still thinks about the Titans somehow. Coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Zen Sports, here to tell you about Zen Sports, the new sports betting app in Tennessee, revolutionizing sports betting rewards. What if I told you that you're wasting your time and money betting on any sports book that's not Zen Sports? Zen Sports offer real cash rewards for those lucky enough to be in Tennessee. And that means no funny money, points, or credits. You get real cash to your account by being a member. For instance, the welcome bonus. As soon as you get on the app, you can earn 5% cash back on every bet you place for the first 15 days with no limit on your bonus when you use the referral bonus code. And earn up to 3% cash back on your bets after that with Zen Sports Loyalty Program. So make the switch today and start betting on Zen Sports. Your wallet will thank you later. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 20 years or older and present in Tennessee to bet.
Tuesday morning continues in hour 2 on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Coming up in 15 minutes, Jim Irsay is the gift that keeps on giving. If you were a Titans fan or a fan of anyone other than the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC South, the latest on Jonathan Taylor and the Indianapolis Colts coming up here in just a few minutes. 615-737-1045 is how you join in on the discussion. All right, we're going to play another Price is Right, except not with money, this time just with a power ranking. Where does ESPN now have the Titans ranked in preseason NFL power rankings? We're dipping our toe in the water of national conversation about the Titans.
Give me 18. I'll take 18 for 18.
Not Price is Right rules on this, by the way. You can go over.
Can't go over. I got 18.
Give me 23.
Robert Walsh.
Let's go 20.
Kayla Anderson, your winner this morning. The ESPN.com final preseason NFL power rankings have the Tennessee Titans moving up 2 spots to the 26th best team in the NFL.
Oh, wowzers.
What?
Yeah.
That is, I do not remember a year, guys, where, and this is why I bring this point, it all comes together, that I don't remember a year where the national perception on the Titans has been so off.
Mm-hmm.
I think this team is sneaky decent at this point. I think they could be sneaky good. I think they could be great on defense. Mike Keith said as much with us on Friday. Ramon, after you left, said that this Titans defense has a chance to be special. And when Titans defenses are special, typically the team ends up being special. 28th to 26th in the NFL is not special, obviously. And they have players that are on the hot seat, or players or coaches who are on the hot seat. They have Christian Fulton as the player on the hot seat on ESPN.com.
Well, I mean, he's in a contract year, so I guess
that one certainly makes sense.
That's a hot seat.
Right.
But what we've seen from him so far, he's done what he needs to do in the offseason. Now, that's got to translate into game action. So I kind of agree with that. But I like that they are always low on these preseason lists, because that's, like Will's mentioned before, and year after year with the Mike Vrabel team, they like it like that. Like, don't give Titans the attention.
Yeah.
That's probably not the best case scenario. Make sure they've got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder going into the season.
As a player, I've always appreciated when they didn't hold us up high.
Yeah.
I really did. Like, I knew we'd have teams, and good teams. You know how you have that feeling leaving out of training camp or the first couple of weeks, like, oh, we can do something. You know, we can be a good team. And then you end up beating those teams they had in front of you. It brings a different type of joy and passion to the game when that type of stuff happens. Because as much as we don't pay attention, and I lie when we say that stuff, don't pay attention to the national narrative, it does become bulletin board material.
And I think for us, it's a good thing to, again, dip our toe in without taking it as gospel.
Right.
I mean, maybe sometimes we as local media swing the pendulum too much towards, oh, you just don't pay attention to any of that stuff. I think it's fine to want your team to be put on center stage a little bit. And that's where I'll speak from the position of being a local. Like, the attention's cool. It is. It's not something you care about what they're saying, but the fact that you're in the conversation, that to me is relevant and I think is genuine. And a lot of times we belittle people for just wanting to be talked about. It's fine to want to be talked about as long as you know that whatever is talked about isn't gospel.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody says that, hey, the Titans are done now that Derrick Henry has a foot injury, is out for the season, their season is over. Yeah, you can certainly understand that that's not gospel when Stephen A. Smith says that in 2021. And the Titans go on to be the 1 seed in the AFC. But it is cool to be discussed. I think that's reasonable.
It is. And that's the thing, too. I think you can you can love being the guy that people don't believe in and continue to prove wrong. There's joy in proving people wrong. You know, but you always want your praise. You do. When you're good, you want to be known as, all right, yeah, we're a legit squad.
Well, I'll tell you though, it's been a world of a difference with having Mike Vrabel as the head coach. If you're talking about getting the national attention, like, he has helped get this team national attention, whether in most of the time it's been winning, but that has clearly brought some significance to this team just with Vrabel and the way that he coaches, and he's very well respected around the league. So it might not be always the team getting it, but at least they're getting a little bit more of that national attention because Vrabel has done such a good job of putting things together here.
No doubt about it. He does help push the point.
Right.
And I do. I think even this week, if this, whenever it gets out even more, the way they're doing practices today.
Oh, yeah.
This reminds me of such a college moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, I agree with the Christian Fulton thing being on the hot seat for the record. Like, I think that's the right choice. And Teron Davenport's the one that wrote it on ESPN.com when I read this last night. And what he says is 100% correct. I didn't mean to make it obviously sound like I was belittling that. I think that is the pick I would make for who is on the hot seat for a guy that's made 24 starts over the last 3 seasons. It's 8 starts per season.
That's low.
His perspective is a local one and a good one. Teron does as good a job of anyone as covering this team. And that's where I think, again, you have to differentiate. Sometimes a byline or an article can be written by a national website or source, yet you have someone local that's hyper-local covering the team. That's why I also feel like you can't always just discredit hey, national media X, Y, or Z thinks this. Sometimes, yes, national media will have a publication that is represented by someone who's there on the ground floor every day.
We may have to revisit this whole lineup of that, though, Will, because I want to see who's 1 through 25 on this list at some point to see where's the justification is. Because, again, it's words on a piece of paper for clicks right now, right? As far as power rankings go. But you got to ask the question sometimes, why are you 26?
Right. Who's right above and right below? Like
I
the
was
two,
about to say,
okay.
So 25 is the Washington Commanders, and 27 the Los Angeles Rams.
I don't think I agree with either of those.
Titans still ranked second in the AFC South, despite being 26th.
How far up, if you got it real quick?
Jacksonville's 11.
That is a huge gap.
It's a big jump.
Wow. Where's
Big
Houston?
I believe Houston is 31, right ahead of the Arizona Cardinals. The teams ranked behind the Titans in this. Rams in order. Rams, Falcons, Colts, Bucks, Texans, Cardinals.
Oh, my 2
Anyway.
AFC South teams.
So there you go. There's dipping our toe into the national perspective on the Titans.
That's
That's
interesting.
rough right there.
Interesting. 615-737-1045. We'll get to Scott on the phone lines if you want to join in on You're Not That Guy coming up. And we will dive into what Jim Irsay's done this time. We love to see it. Coming up next.
Yep. It's Ramon Foster for Hillary. Excuse me. Wow. I need him to come serve as me, too, with this one after it's done, all right? But it's Ramon Foster for Hiller, plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical. And yes, I said all of that is attached to Hiller because they do all of those things. I've had plumbing done in my house through Hiller. I've had the heating and cooling with my HVAC service through them, and I've had electrical, too. I'm telling you guys, Hiller's one of the best companies around when it comes to satisfaction, and they guarantee that 100% of the time because their detail in how they service your house is beautiful. Whenever a technician show up to your home, they put the shoe covers on just so they don't track anything into your home or out of your home, man. They do background checks and drug testing so that you know that the people that come into your home can be trusted. Hiller cares about the homeowner, the community, their partners, vendors, and employees, and it's a major part of their business. Best part about it, too, they are family-owned and operated and been in business since 1990. Anytime there's an issue going on in my house, whether it be heating and cooling, electrical, or plumbing, I call Hiller simply because they do good work. They don't oversell me. They detail and itemize everything that they're working on when it comes to my house. If you want to experience the same service I have about Hiller for a plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical issue, simply visit happyhiller.com and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
What's going on? 8 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. We got an injury update on Kyle Phillips from last night. Phillips suffered an MCL injury as he was taken down on a first quarter punt return in Minnesota. The timetable for his return is a range of 4 to 6 weeks, taking him out of the opener against New Orleans. Exciting week of practice for the Titans, as we learned last night on the Mike Vrabel Show. In lieu of the abandoned joint practices, the Titans opted to do something a little different.
Doing a little blue-white scrimmage. We had a draft. We got 2 head coaches. Big Terrell Williams, Big T will be the head coach on one team, and John Stryker will be the head coach on the other team. They've drafted players, they've drafted coaches, they've drafted trainers, they've drafted strength coaches. So
Colts have given All-Pro running back Jonathan Taylor permission to seek a trade. Other teams are now weighing whether to make an offer for the Colts and what would be fair value. Taylor is in the final year of his rookie contract and looking to cash in on his play. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5. The Zone.
Halftime of your Tuesday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. Coming up in 20 minutes, Tennessee adds a fringe 5-star edge rusher yesterday who picks the Volunteers over Texas, Alabama, and Georgia. We get the latest from Eric Cain of VolQuest.com coming up at 8:20. Right now, we've got Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. I'm Will Bowling, and Jonathan Taylor has been given permission to look for a trade away from the Indianapolis Colts.
I know. I saw this.
For one, am shocked.
I hate the timing of it. I do say that. So late in this process. It ain't late in this process, but I almost feel like if there's ever something bad done around an NFL organization, it's Irsay probably saying no, and then talking to all the owners and being like, hey, give them low value. Like, that's me assuming this, okay? That's not 100% law in case Irsay is listening. Got to save myself here a little bit, Kayla. But I do look at that and kind of say to myself, like, you know you're going to get low value probably for them, or nobody's going to trade for them because it is a fraternity amongst certain owners in this league as far as doing business the right or wrong way. Never forget, the Washington Commanders got in trouble because they were overspending during the lockout, and they pretty much had allegedly had a collusion case that, look, they're not going to overpay for free agents in the 2011 year. So I'm not going to play dumb and be like, oh, Irsay's doing a good thing, he's finally over it. I look at this and I hope JT finally gets something good out of this trade for himself. And it's just another situation where the Colts just continue to drop the ball, no pun intended, since they want to continue to show cross-body throws in their social media account.
Yeah, we're talking about their starting quarterback, Anthony Richardson, there, who didn't play in the preseason game, but that's another story. Yeah, this is interesting to me, the timing, just because they've known that there's an issue. They've known that JT has not been happy, and to let it now get to this point where finally you're agreeing to let him possibly seek, getting traded. It's like, why not just do it 2-3 weeks ago, right? Why wait till now? You knew that you guys were at that level of your relationship, and I think Jonathan Taylor is one of those guys. While the running backs have been devalued a bit. That's been a big subject for us that we've been talking about. I still think he could quickly find a home. Now, how much money he'll get, that's another story. But I would see him getting snatched up pretty quickly on the market. Would you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, personally.
I think it's going to come down to price. Oh, trade?
Because he's getting traded. He's not going to get released.
So you just mean money-wise, he's not going to get probably a lot.
For this year, he's going to keep the same contract. Mm-hmm. Free agency, that's a separate story. But, I mean, the money is honestly not really a part of it because he's just on his rookie deal still, and he's
He's
going to be
still on
traded
his
and
rookie deal?
keep his contract. Yeah.
Yep.
Dang, I forgot that.
According to Stephen Holder of ESPN, the team is looking for a first-round pick or a collection of picks that equates to one. So Jim Irsay, with everything he's done regarding Jonathan Taylor, has told him and the world that he doesn't have the value that he thinks he does, Taylor does, and his agent. Mm-hmm. Yet then he's trying to get a lot of value out of him. You've just spent the entire offseason telling the guy, with everything that you've done and everything you've said, that he doesn't have that much value. And now you want a first-round pick for him? I thought he didn't have value.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more of him asking for that value or him asking for such a high price knowing that no one will fetch that? Like, you're stuck here. You can go try to seek a trade all you'd like to, but no one's going to offer what we want for you. So you can either play here the last year of your contract or you can sit on the bench.
It's true.
Yeah, that's tough. I think in negotiations, for sure, you always start high and walk it down from there. If they're stuck on being a first-round draft pick, then he controls the trade value. There is absolutely no trade to be made if that's the case then.
No.
Again, if he's sticking to a first-round draft pick, like you said, Will, you told everybody he was it wasn't worth what you wanted to pay him or what he was asking in his contract. Or, nah, we're good. We don't need to pay him. And then you put a first-round tag on him. That is insane. Like, the amount of power that they have over this. Like I said, I look at this and say, oh, don't act like Jim Irsay is doing a good thing. He's not. He's just controlling the narrative by acting like he's giving you a pat on the back. It's pretty much raining outside. And it's not, actually. It's something else on your back. That's terrible.
Somebody had brought up the Christian McCaffrey trade that happened last year, right, to the Niners. And I just think that that's such a different situation in any case, like to compare that to any other running back. And I know McCaffrey dealt with injuries too, but he still was put in just like a different category, I feel like. And remember, that was the Niners. I feel like one of the few teams that would do something like that because of the type of offense they run, right?
Yeah.
That it just worked for them. But I don't think you can compare that trade to many others that could happen.
The main difference in that trade is Christian McCaffrey already had a large deal. The 49ers gave him an extension on that deal, but he was already getting paid from the Panthers more than his first-round tender where he was originally drafted. So they got 2 second-round picks out of that, which would equate to a first-round pick. But still tough to see anyone giving up anything close to that value. But is there anyone that you think could make this trade? Is there one team that you think would do something like this?
One in mind that could use them.
There's one team that sticks out for me.
Who's your team? I'll tell you mine after.
I think if Jerry Jones could be convinced that a running back could come in and make his team a next-level contender. He's already in the NFC that's weak. His real competition is the 49ers and the Eagles. Tony Pollard's injured, and he's on a franchise tag. Seemingly, he would be able to pivot to another running back where he could bell cow that guy just like he did Ezekiel Elliott. And also, Jerry Jones loves running backs. He loves paying those guys. And if he sees him as an all-pro running back, I think you could convince him to say, hey, let's give up a late second and maybe a third or throw another player in there. But again, that would be a big reach, in my opinion. I don't know if they would do that, but the Cowboys would make sense for me.
The biggest issue that JT is going to run, Jonathan Taylor is going to run into, is a lot of the teams that are contenders, which is the type of player or the type of team that he should be going to, already have their guys. I was looking at Kansas City, and I was like, nah, they got Isaiah Pacheco. They got other guys on that roster. I'm looking at other San Francisco's got guys. Like, legitimately, most of these teams have guys except for one. I would say Minnesota, considering they lost Dalvin Cook, but it's the same scenario as it was with Dalvin Cook.
Right.
Minnesota makes sense. If I'm JT, I'm looking at it from a perspective. If I'm not going to go to a contender right now and I don't want to be with the Colts, don't send me to another team that's bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Like, he can't fit anywhere in the AFC North, nowhere in the AFC South.
Not in the AFC North?
Not in the AFC North, no.
Not Bengals who lost Samaje Perine?
No. And again, they're coming up on another contract situation, though, Will. Again, you can make it work for 1 year.
Yeah. Here's a reach for me, and this is only because I'm familiar with the situation. I'm not saying that this would work at all, but the Seahawks have lost 2 running backs, some very young running backs, and Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, who they just drafted, who are obviously still under cap-friendly rookie contracts. That always is a curious one for me, especially with Geno Smith up there, having the help with the running backs that in previous years they've had. And I mean, I'm not saying that would happen, but there's another spot he could be used.
Bears or Dolphins for me?
Bears or Dolphins.
Bears have Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert, and Deontay Foreman. Dolphins with Jeff Wilson down there.
That's
Raheem Mostert and Devin Achane, the third-round pick out of Texas A&M. Yeah. Miami was the other team that was in for Dalvin Cook. Wouldn't surprise me if they sent one of those running backs away for Jonathan Taylor and sent a pick also. You throw Jeff Wilson and a third. What does that equate to for Indianapolis? You take that deal if you're Indy? If Jeff Wilson and a third-round pick for Jonathan Taylor.
I look at Indy's situation and say, if you're not going to prioritize the running back moving forward.
Right.
Like, that's their hiccup right there. They've said we're not going to prioritize it.
Bears have $15.5 million of cap space available. At this point, anytime a player is available, the Bears are going to be linked to them every single time.
And no, he's not coming to Tennessee, folks. On Twitter.
No shot.
Twitter.
No shot.
Twitter or X is such a wild platform.
Who said that?
I'm not going to name names, but there's a couple people, fans.
That's tough.
Oh, goodness. Scott is next as we wrap up You're Not That Guy here on the show. Get to Eric Cain coming up next. What's up, Scott?
Hey, good morning, y'all. I do take umbrage with the traffic gal because there is another problem on 65 North right now, and it's retired Hertz driver guy. You're not the Undertaker, bro, Tiff. You're not having a quirky, unique personality. You're just not that guy. Okay?
That's fair.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, goodness.
You're not that guy, pal.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah, appreciate the call. You hung on. I ain't going for that one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up, Eric Cain joins us. Tennessee adds a major commitment last night on the defensive side of the football. Are there any others that we can expect to come soon? And the latest is Tennessee begins classes this week and goes into game week preparation. A lot of talk about the quarterbacks in Knoxville over the last 48 hours. That's coming up next with Eric Cain of VolQuest right here on RKW.
It's Ramon and Kayla for Window Nation. You guys, this week, for sure, this heat, humidity, scorching temps is here, okay? Probably putting your AC into overdrive, leading to sky-high energy bills. One less bang before the summer is over, right? We got a solution for you, all right? New windows from our friends at Window Nation, where you can save thousands a day with no money down, no payments, and pay no interest for 2 full years. Plus, get 50% off any style window, too, from Bose, Bays, double hung, any style. So protect and increase the value of your home today by calling 866-90-NATION or going online at windownation.com.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned it, Ramon, with mortgage rates so high, it's a difficult time to move. So invest in your home today now with new windows from Window Nation. You can increase that value of your home and save up to 30% on those energy bills because Ramon told you this week you're going to crank that AC. If you're wondering, well, Window Nation, they're pretty much pros. They've installed nearly 2 million windows with a 96% perfection rate, making them one of the top window companies in the country. And if you're wondering about the people who actually come out and install those windows, they're pros as well. Average installer with over 16 years of experience with over 20,000 windows installed. So make sure you get in on this deal today and go ahead, protect and increase the value of your home. Call 866-90-NATION or simply go online to windownation.com.
Tuesday morning continues on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, I'm Will Bowling. And joining us from beautiful Knoxville, Tennessee, he is the one and only Eric Cain, writing for VolQuest.com, as Tennessee picks up a big commitment yesterday on the defensive side of the football. What's up, Eric? How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. Doing well. Hope you guys are as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. It sounds like you got a taste of the morning radio bug again this morning, up there with maybe the nicest guy in media anywhere, in John Wilkerson.
Yeah, he's the man. Certainly the nicest guy. And, gosh, man, that 4:30 a.m. alarm. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, I miss radio every day. I love radio. Do not miss that alarm, but had a blast this morning back on the air with John, so that was fun.
Eric Cain with us. Eric, Jordan Ross commits to Tennessee yesterday over Texas, Alabama, and Florida. Another defensive addition for the Vols. How big is this guy for Tennessee moving forward?
It's a big get. I mean, according to the On3 industry rankings, he's the 34th ranked player in the country, highly rated 4-star prospect, one of the best players out of the state of Alabama. He's long, he's explosive, he's got a great frame. And, you know, Josh Heupel and his staff, they've been in some big boy battles. And you're not going to win them all, but you need to win your fair share. And this is one that they needed to win, and they got it. And so, you know, Jordan Ross becomes the second highest recruit in the class, behind 5-star Mike Matthews. Tennessee now has 20 commits, 10 on the offensive end, 10 on the defensive end. And this is shaping up to be a really, really nice class. Now it's to number 6 in the country. So a big-time get, and it just continues to show you the positions that they prioritize. This staff has prioritized, obviously, the quarterback position. They've done well. And getting after the passer, you know, James Pierce, Joshua Joseph, Shandavion Bradley, Caleb Herring, Kellen Lindstrom's already in this class, and now Jordan Ross. Getting after the quarterback and the quarterback position itself, Tennessee has done a great job in recruiting.
When it comes down to commitment videos, okay, when mom shows up in a video with you and she's smirking and smiling with you, that means you've done something right in recruiting, E. Cain. What did they do right in this recruiting?
You know, just build relationships. You know, recruiting nowadays, you guys know this as well. I mean, you got to come to some games as sophomores and juniors. You got to camp as, you know, heading into your junior summer. Come back to games, get to junior days, get to spring practice, come for the cookouts, the unofficial visits, and then your official visits. So, you know, getting these guys back on campus as much as you can. That's why I would never, ever, ever want to coach in college. It's relentless, but it is what it is. And they did a great job getting him back on campus. I mean, I think Jordan Ross has been to Tennessee's campus probably 7 times. And they just continue to build a great relationship with them. I think the product on the field has certainly helped, but, you know, hat tip to Rodney Garner, to Mike Eckler, Josh Heupel, really did a great job connecting not only with Jordan Ross, but with, as you mentioned, the mom, a major part in this recruitment. I think that Tennessee did a great job of recruiting the family as well.
When you look at also this class, man, the last 3, if we can be honest with you, one thing that's been apparent is they are going to go for some outside rushers. They're going to go for some guys that can get out of the quarterback. For as much stress as this offense of Coach Heupel causes the team, I think it was fair to kind of say that. It looked like they're countering that by going after guys that can put the opposing team's quarterback on their back. Is that the angle that they're taking right now?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you want playmakers. You want to recruit well at all, you know, on both sides of the football, but you got to prioritize some of the most important positions in football, quarterback and getting after the quarterback. And I think Tennessee's done such a great job since Josh Heupel's been here. Again, you go back to 2 cycles ago, they won huge with James Pierce on National Signing Day. Won big with Tyree West on National Signing Day. Caleb Herring from the Mid-State, one of the best players in the state, and you know, in his class in last year's cycle. Shandavion Bradley, one of the top players in the state of Missouri, and then you know, with Jordan Ross here, not only one of the best players in Alabama, but one of the best players, you know, top 35 player according to On3 in the industry rankings in the entire country. So they know how they want to build their team. They know how they want to build the rosters. And, I mean, if you're, you know, playing Madden or NC Dubs and doing Dynasty mode and you're kind of building your roster, that's kind of where you start as well. You want a solid quarterback and you want guys that can get after the quarterback. And I think Tennessee's done a great, great job in that regard, really since Josh Heupel's been here.
Speaking of quarterback, Tennessee starting quarterback Joe Milton, just in fall camp so far, What's maybe surprised you about this guy that maybe we haven't heard about before? Because we've heard about the strong arm. We've heard about so many things. But anything you've seen growth-wise out of him that you're like, okay, he is ready?
Well, hearing Josh Heupel last week say that he's not sure if he's thrown an interception all fall camp, that was pretty telling to me. Now, again, he could have thrown one in a 7-on-7 or a 1-on-1. I mean, Ramon knows that they're throwing the football, 400 times a practice. Like, it's a ton, right? So, but the fact that your head coach is up there in front of a microphone, in front of camera saying that, I think that speaks volumes in terms of how he's grown, not only in this offense, but his accuracy. Joe Milton's always had such a high ceiling and such great potential, big arm, Cam Newton size, athleticism, all that type of stuff. But if you look at his stats throughout his lengthy college career, his accuracy has been something that's held him back. Now, last year, it was a minimal time, but his accuracy was as great as it's ever been last season. And it sounds like he's been really accurate with the football in the short intermediate throws and on the deep throws in practice as well. So I would say that's probably something that stood out to me. He's always a confident guy. He's always been confident in himself. But now I think after going through what he did in 2021, he knows the system now entering year 3 in this same system. He knows the why, not just what to do, but why you're doing it this way. And I think that gives him even more confidence.
We've talked about the wide receiver room at length, leading up to this season. But how about that running backs room? Jabari Small, Jalen Wright, who else is in the mix here? And what do you expect out of this group this year?
I like this running back room. You look at some of the groups top to bottom around the SEC. Georgia's got a great room. Alabama's got a great room. Tennessee's got a great room. Now, there's no Superman in that group. But, top to bottom, I think they've got, 3 guys that can play and you can trust in football games right now. Jabari Small has played for years. Jalen Wright, I believe, is going to be the breakout star on this offense this year. He's had a great offseason. I think he should have gotten some more run, no pun intended, last year. He continues to transform his body from, being a speedster, being a scat back coming out of high school to be an all-purpose back now. And he looks the part, and I think that he's had a fantastic fall camp. And then Dylan Sampson just continues to do the same thing. And he had really nice stats as a true freshman last year, and he's continuing to grow in his pass pro and all that, and he'll get to play some more. So you got those 3 guys. You've got a freshman in Cam Selden who, maybe is a true freshman. Maybe you'll see some gadget plays with him, but I think eventually as he continues to grow into a running back down the line in his career, I think he's going to be a good one as well. So they're deep at running back, top to bottom. Again, no All-American right now in that group, and that's okay, but a lot of great options and plenty that will play in a football game.
Eric Quain, VolQuest, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kalen, Will. Eric, when you look at this offensive line, how have they adjusted to Cooper Mays being out for the last few practices, and what do you think that best 5 looks like right now? Is it pretty solid what they have, or there's still battles being worked out?
Yeah, that's $1 million question. That's the biggest question of fall camp. It was a question coming into fall camp, and as you exit fall camp and kind of go into game week preparations, it's still a question. Now, that does not mean I think the offensive line is going to be bad. That does not mean that this offense is going to take a major step back. I think that they're going to be just fine. But at that left guard position, very, very unsettled. And because Cooper Mays is sidelined right now, you're taking one of the leaders in the clubhouse that could play a lot of left guard, and Ollie Lane, a 6-year senior, and he's moving to center. So Ollie Lane is snapping the football right now because it's so important to keep the tempo, and it starts with the center in this offense. And so Andre Keurig, the Texas transfer, and Jackson Lampley, a veteran in this offense, Addison Nichols, a sophomore now, they're all kind of getting some looks at left guard. Now, at right tackle, you have 2 guys that are battling it out that played left tackle for Tennessee last year, and Gerald Mincy and J.J. Crawford. So even though they're flipping sides, and Ramon can attest to this, that's no easy task. I'm not trying to minimize that. Right. You feel good about your options. You feel good because you know they've been there, they've done this in this system and all that. Left guard's a little concerning right now. So, we'll have to see. And I would love to get Ramon's take on this. Sorry to kind of hijack the interview here, but I do believe that there's going to be a bit of a rotation the first couple of weeks. And offensive line, you typically don't want a rotation, but it's something that Tennessee has done, or Josh Heupel's done in his system before. I think you'll see some of these guys playing left guard, some of these guys playing right tackle the first few weeks. Ramon, is that Is that kind of concerning, or is that okay early in the season?
Depends on where they're using them at, just truthfully. And it's also one of those things that you put the best 5 out there in those moments. Like, they don't have the type of preseason that the NFL does. So this can be a trial by error to figure out what's going to be the best 5 moving forward. And just watching last year, too, they had a few guys swapping it out at left tackle last year. So it's not something that they haven't done before. It's just now the stakes are a little bit higher. And, of course, our eyes on it a little bit more because Gerald Mincey did it last year often at left tackle. Him and who was it that swapped out last year a good bit at left tackle? Crawford. Yes, Jeremiah. Right. Sure did.
Fair enough. Again, Will, I think that's going to be something you see the first couple of weeks of the season. And you hope that they have a great idea of what that 5 is going to be. And you need Cooper back, but by the time you go to Florida.
So do you get the sense, Eric, that Joe Milton is ready to play behind that offensive line, just meaning his pocket presence, right? How big of a conversation has that been for him? Just considering he seemed hesitant at times, even in the Clemson game, whether he was going to run or stand in the pocket. Do you feel like that's a weakness that's being addressed this offseason for him?
Yeah, I think they're working on it for sure, and I know what you're meaning by the hesitancy in a little bit. You saw that in the Orange Bowl, and you pointed out, and that's something where I think you're going to miss Hendon Hooker. That doesn't mean that Joe Milton doesn't have escapability or can't extend plays or anything like that. But Hendon Hooker, he wasn't looking to run all the time. But when he was indecisive or the pocket collapsed, he would take off and get you a first down or sometimes the big games and everything. Joe Milton can do that, but not as much as Hendon Hooker, in my opinion. So that's one of the things I'm really intrigued to see about Joe Milton. As the season begins, you go from week 1 to week 2 to week 3, how he is in those certain situations. But he's had a great fall camp. Again, everybody you talk to says he's a different guy. This is his team. He's the leader, undisputed leader, and he's confident in himself. And while we're out there, we don't get to see much. But, he's looking near flawless while we're out there. So take that for what it is. But I think Joe Milton's had a really strong month of August and is about as confident as he's ever been in heading into the season.
Speaking of leaders, the leader of the athletic department last night had a tweet that was very telling, man, about how he feels about his head coach and honestly how the coaching search went, man. Danny White said, of course, about Tony Elliott, interesting, don't remember offering, ignore this the first time, can't do it again. An interview doesn't constitute an offer. Interviewed several candidates, offered one. Cain. I didn't know that was Suge Knight up there, man.
Yeah, obviously Danny White feels some type of way about it. And again, I'm going to take the underlying joke there. I don't know if he texted a friend or not before he fired off that tweet. But, I think that does show like that he's got his coach's back, that is his guy. And I think there's some truth to that. Now, I wasn't on the inside. I wasn't following the hiring cycle back in 2021, like some other people and everything. But, when you talk about a formal offer, of course, Josh Heupel was the only one that received a formal offer. Tony Elliott got an interview or, a couple of interviews or whatever, and so did a lot of other candidates. But I guess Danny White has kind of heard this narrative before, and he was tired of it. It adds, if anything, adds a little sauce, right? A little salsa to this game coming up in a couple of weeks there in Nashville.
Anything less than 70 points unacceptable?
Goodness sake.
Against Virginia, because the stakes have been raised now, man, and I'm very much interested to see how this game unfolds, EK.
No, it's going to be fun. And again, it's going to be week 1. Tennessee is going to be far, far from perfect. They will be far from perfect, but I don't think Virginia is a very good football team. So, yeah, I think Josh Heupel is going to go and do what he does, and I think that it gives guys like us, some talking material leading into the game, whereas more so than just starting the season and opening week. Now you have an athletic director, going on there and kind of speaking his mind. So it was interesting to say the least, but I think Vol Twitter really, really enjoyed that last night.
We did.
Eric, I know Josh Heupel has brought a couple of these words up a few times in his press conference when talking about just the offseason, now training camp. Keeps on saying he likes the energy, the consistency of the work habits. Is this just a part now, like he's feeling more comfortable kind of settling in as the head coach and having his solid staff around him, that he's able to kind of find that consistency and energy with his teams at a time like this?
Yeah, I just think it's year 3 in the system. So, obviously his first year, the scholarship numbers weren't where they needed to be. And the team's gotten bigger and you have returners and, these guys know how practices are. They know the expectations of their position coaches. They know the expectations and what a practice at Tennessee looks like. And it gets a little bit better. It should get a little bit better, especially early on in a tenure in that regard. So I just think that he, is pleased with where this team is. I think that he's got a lot of leaders. They've got more depth than they ever have. And I think he's pleased with kind of, where his position groups are kind of being led right now. And again, a lot of these guys who are going to be playing big snaps for Tennessee, some of these guys were here through the transition. They were young guys early on in the 21 season or maybe even last year. But now they're veterans, and they kind of been there and they've done that, and they just know what to expect in this coaching staff. And so I think from that regard, it's been a really, really strong camp, and Josh Heupel is certainly pleased.
Eric Cain has been our guest this morning here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will at _Cainer, where you can follow his Vols coverage for VolQuest.com and On3. Great stuff as always, Eric. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. There's Eric Cain with us this morning talking Vols as they continue game week preparations this week. Guys, the way I have to look at this when you're 2 weeks out is I just have to pretend this weekend's a bye week. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, we can do this in the middle of football season. We can get through 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sure. We're so close.
Yeah.
And you got a little bit of like preseason football for NFL, so it's like there's enough to take you there.
The Tony Elliott thing. So if you're unfamiliar with that story, Tony Elliott is the coach at Virginia, who was the Clemson offensive coordinator, whom UT reportedly was interested in when Josh Heupel got the Tennessee job and was reportedly, quote unquote, offered the gig before Josh Heupel was and turned it down. That was the story that was referenced by Zach Reagan of A to Z Sports last night on Twitter, who quoted Tony Elliott in talking about Tennessee, and then Danny White fired off that tweet that Ramon mentioned saying he was never offered. I think the theme, guys, from what we hear about Josh Heupel and Danny White is nothing gets past them. Mm-hmm. Talk about not paying attention to certain parts of media earlier on in the show. They are paying attention to everything. Everything.
Yep. Everything.
And Danny White will retweet you if he feels like you have disparaged him.
Yeah.
I've never seen that one before.
He did not text a buddy.
But that's why Danny White, he's so savvy, and he's so smart and ahead of the times. He is one of those guys you definitely want as your AD right now in this day and age in college football.
It just
100%.
It just gave so much to the understanding of where the university is. To your point, though, Kayla, some people say, well, that's what he's supposed to say. And you know what? Doing the job right sometimes means saying the right things in moments like this. Well, of course Josh Heupel is his only guy. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Whether it's true or not, if he offered Coach Tony or whatever the case may have been, he is supposed to back now his guy. Yep. And to put it on Front Street like that, I thought was a good move about, like you said, Kayla, sometimes just checking the box of sending out a random tweet, and it may look distasteful to some people. Oh, why are you worried about what people are saying in interviews? Well, when you back your guy and believe in him, you're supposed to say those types of things.
Absolutely.
They did have an interesting article yesterday on VolQuest.com, a sit-down interview exclusive with Dondi Plowman. We'll get to that coming up at 9 o'clock in 20 minutes. Some interesting things in that. But when we come back into the NFL discussion where our friend ESPN's Bill Barnwell has released 4 teams who are expected to make a jump in the NFL this year. 4 teams likely to improve. We're going to take these 4 and tell you which one we think is most likely to improve. Coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. And when it comes to large home repairs, a lot of the time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. That's because we're afraid of what we're going to hear. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed now, or it could be a small problem that'll become bigger later, or it could be nothing at all. Bottom line, We don't know, and we certainly don't want to be sold something we don't need. What we need is a peace of mind. And United Structural System is the company to give that. They have over 25,000, 100% satisfied residential customers. And here's how they make that happen. When USS comes out to your house, you're getting problem solvers who can provide a peace of mind to the customer. That's the homeowner. You're getting someone who is not worried about meeting a sales quota or upselling the next big thing, but someone there to educate you and help you understand what's happening with your home. At USS, their only measure of success is how satisfied the homeowner is and not a closing ratio. And also, the attitude and culture is the reason they kept the employees year after year, from project managers to customer service and production. Some have been at USS for 25 plus years, which means you'll be familiar with who's showing up to your house to fix your house, okay? This is who you want doing repair work on your home, and this is who you need to call if you ever need to use them or that warranty that they give you. Homeowners trust USS. Keep your homes dry and stable. They guarantee their best, and they're serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. You can reach them online at USSTN.com or call them 615-488-7855.
RKW is powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors here on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 is our number. 4 teams likely to improve in the 2023 season. That's what ESPN's Bill Barnwell writes on ESPN+. We're going to pick between these 4 to see who makes the biggest jump. There's that streak going of somebody that's finished last always wins the division the next year. It was the Jags last year. Mm-hmm. This season, between these 4 teams, which one ends up being the best? The Bears, the Browns, the Broncos, or the Rams?
Ooh.
Bears easily.
Really?
By a mile.
Easily?
And what reason?
They had a fantastic offseason. I think they got some components of their team that's really coming together. The fact they got a wide receiver core now, I think, is a whole lot better. Getting DJ is friggin' phenomenal for them. They have somewhat of a run game. If they do get JT, that's a what if type of situation. And I look at the team and say, like, they have a better opportunity than those other teams of doing something nice. I don't know what the Browns are capable of. They may be the strongest team out of this group.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how they are willing to fight to come out of the North like that, and what Deshaun is capable of too.
And that's why it's hard for me to pick them, but that's probably the one that sticks out to me the most with having the most potential.
Yeah.
But I hate using that word sometimes because they've never lived up to the potential.
They never have.
So it's like hard for me to use that with that team specifically, even when you have a talented quarterback in Deshaun Watson, because I just don't know with all the time he took off, like, will he be that guy he was before all of this stuff happened when he was in Houston? That quarterback, that's still a big question mark to me. And just everything that happens there, they always underperform. So it's hard for me to say that they're the team out of all of those that's going to take the biggest jump. So I kind of, now that you're listing it all out, I would probably lean more towards Chicago too. Yeah. I think it's also one of those situations where you have to see the jump from Justin Fields this year. I believe he can do it. I truly do. He's young. He's had some experience now. He's got some weapons around him. I like the coaching staff. And then in Denver, I say the only reason why I can't go there is I like Sean Payton a lot as a head coach in terms of coaching. But I am still, yes, I will say this, I am still not sold that Russell Wilson is that guy.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We're going to see.
I am going to say Denver.
Okay.
Because last season, according to adjusted games lost in the analytics, the Broncos were the most injured team in the NFL a season ago. Out of all of their starters, the Denver Broncos had 2 players play and start all 17 games. 2. Pat Surtain and Kareem Jackson. At the end of the season last year, they had Quinn Bailey, Latavius Murray, Jaquan McMillan, and Asong Bassi as starters. I literally have heard of one of those people before reading this article.
Yeah.
And we talk about the NFL every day. I think the Broncos, who were 4-9 in one-score games last season, I think their luck turns around a little bit this year. And I think Sean Payton is the perfect fit to make Russell Wilson a good quarterback again.
Defensively, aren't they pretty decent too?
Yeah, they are.
So that's a thing that I guess you could look at and be like, okay, defensively, I like what I see out of that team.
Yeah.
Brandon McManus also missed 2 field goals to possibly win them games last season. No longer there.
And is this to go from worst to first?
No, just to improve the most.
Just to bounce back. Okay, that's where I misunderstood. Because I was like, there's no way they unseat both the Chiefs and the Chargers. That's
No.
Okay, that's why I misunderstood. I was like thinking of the Browns. Like, who are the Browns going to unseat?
I know.
Who are any of these guys going to unseat?
Hey, Bird, as an AFC North guy, do you ever see the Browns as somebody you take serious?
I take them serious the week we play them, because I feel like anytime the Browns play anyone else in the AFC North, it is a tight game.
It is.
But as soon as they get an out of conference game, out of division game, they're terrible. They are not good playing anyone else. When they play the Panthers, when they play the Titans, when they play the Lions, they are not good.
Yeah.
They are not that guy. But when they play anyone in the AFC North, they are that guy. For that game, they play everybody tough in the division.
Fair.
Interesting.
So there you go. Teams that are expected to improve. The Bears thing is interesting to me because I don't know if they've had a good offseason or not. I think they have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
I don't know.
I think their division is just a lot more open than,
It is.
than any of the other mentioned divisions.
Certainly is.
For sure.
615-737-1045 is our number. When we come back, VolQuest.com gets a one-on-one conversation with Tennessee Chancellor Dondi Plowman. Some interesting stuff out of this as we get to know the person that is maybe most to credit, deserves the most credit for Tennessee's turnaround under Danny White and Josh Heupel. That's next as we begin Hour 4 on RKW.
It's Ramon Foster of myPhDWeightLoss.com, here to tell you about how it's been good for me and why it's been good for me. How it's been good for me is down 71 pounds, you guys. Again, why it's good for me also, I just had my breakfast this morning. It's exactly what I just told you. Give you a plan as to why and to give you a plan to execute as to how to. Not every person is the same. And my plan was different from Buck's, and Buck's is different from others that's been on this too. And it's the best thing for you is to have somebody in your corner also, like our coach Rachel, who walks you through your progression week through week and talk to you about how and the whys and what happened for you. I tell you, on average, most male clients lose between 3 to 5 pounds a week, and female clients lose between 2 to 3 pounds a week if done correctly. Again, there's no pressure involved in this. This is something that will absolutely make you feel better about yourself. It's one of those things that I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I was excited about it. If you're somebody like me that was looking for a lifestyle change, a body change, and just feel good about your body, then visit myPhDWeightLoss.com. Again, the fall is coming up. Tailgates is coming up. The holiday season right after that. Get ahead of the curve and drop those LBs, whether it's 5, 10, 50, 100 pounds. Visit myPhDWeightLoss.com and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
What the heck's going on? It's 9 o'clock on a Tuesday. Welcome to the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Injury update on Kyle Phillips from last night, as Phillips suffered an MCL injury as he was taken down on a first quarter punt return in Minnesota. The timetable for his return is arranged between 4 and 6 weeks, which likely takes him out of the running for the Week 1 game against the New Orleans Saints. Exciting week of practice for the Titans in lieu of everything we learned last night on the Mike Vrabel Show. They've abandoned joint practices and opted for something a little more fun.
Scrimmage. We had a draft. We got 2 head coaches. Big Terrell Williams, Big T will be the head coach on one team, and John Stryker will be the head coach on the other team. They've drafted players, they've drafted coaches, they've drafted trainers, they've drafted strength coaches. So
we'll see how that plays out after practice. We got to stop calling every fat guy big. Just because he's big doesn't mean he has to be Big T. What about Snug T or Handsome T? We got to get some new names for big fellas. Colts have given All-Pro running back Jonathan Taylor permission to seek a trade. Other teams are now weighing whether to make an offer to the Colts and see what would be fair value. Taylor is in the final year of his rookie contract and looking to cash in on his play. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show continues on a Tuesday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. What trust matters. Count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. One of me is maybe already too much. We don't need 2 of me. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. My name is Will Bowling. Donnie Plowman sat down with VolQuest.com this past week with Brent Hubbs. We'll get to that coming up in just a moment. But first, guys, as Robert mentioned in his update, we got a Titans blue versus white scrimmage today to watch. Kayla, what are you most interested to see out there on the practice field today?
First of all, I'm interested to see is Will Levis present.
Oh, good point.
Because we've been hearing that the injury wasn't substantial enough to possibly put him on IR. Right. We haven't heard many details. We saw him out there warming up. So could we see him out there in the scrimmage today? That's my number one question. I'm just interested to see this type of setup where they're drafting each team, in Malik probably on one side, Tannehill on the other side. So just interested to see how it all plays out in terms of how they run this scrimmage, how much more we're going to see out of some of these guys that it's kind of their final week of proving really if they deserve a roster spot. And I'm looking at that wide receiver group too, who steps up the most out of them with a lot of guys kind of going down with some injuries there.
Yeah, that is fascinating, Kayla. Gosh, you brought back a little PTSD on that one, saying this is the final week that they can actually go prove themselves. Mm-hmm. I think that's fascinating to watch. Mm-hmm. How these guys are going to compete. Like, this would be the week right here, or breaking from camp is what the Titans are about to do this week, to where you see guys kind of give up on themselves a little bit, where you see they've counted the amount of snaps they've had opposed to the guys on the other side of them or who's competing with them. So I want to see how that happens. That's one thing I do think the joint practices have taken away, is those guys having one more opportunity to put some good tape out there.
Right.
And I'm always sympathetic to that. I always say, I never had that feeling of being cut. I can't imagine how that feels for those guys this week, knowing that, look, they got this week and a game and one more week before they trim it down to 53 plus 10 or plus 16 now, I think, for practice squad. That's a lot of cuts, a lot of people losing their jobs, and some guys won't play again. But what I'm watching for this week is, I think it's fair to say, the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Who's going to sift themselves out? I think we all got smacked in the face a little bit with the idea, with the situation we're faced with right now. We hadn't seen D-Hop. Traylon had a situation. Kyle has a situation. Kieras has a situation going on right now. There's a lot of that going on and how fragile this group can be if everybody doesn't stay healthy. Here's your opportunity to kind of step up and kind of, put a stick in the ground and say, here I am too.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair. Should be interesting. I do think the quarterback distribution is the question and the talking point today, and how many of the snaps Malik Willis and Will Levis can get. I would almost imagine that the dream scenario would be Ryan Tannehill can get a little bit of work this weekend, and you have Will Levis scrimmage against Malik Willis. I would almost rather see that if Will Levis was healthy.
Yeah.
Than Ryan Tannehill scrimmage again against his own team. I'd rather put Ryan out there for 2 series on Friday. Let Malik and Will go head-to-head.
Yeah.
Play against each other.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Of course, if that is the plan to play Tannehill this Friday, that will be good to see. And, of course, you get the competition aspect of it. I guess my thought is this. Has Malik done enough to actually win the number 2 spot? Or is there hope, truthfully, y'all, let's be real, that it will be Levis? Levis can't help himself if he's on the sideline like that. And how can he work himself up during the season?
I think at this point, regardless of what Will Levis does this week, Malik Willis is the second quarterback on the roster to start the season.
I think it could have possibly trended maybe in a little bit different direction if Will Levis would have been healthy for that game and maybe showed something. Because Malik kind of is in the same spot, right? He didn't show us anything crazy different in that game against the Vikings. Now, if Will Levis would have shown some vast improvement, maybe then we could be talking about something different. But like we said, availability, best ability, and that is a real thing, especially during a training camp where every day is so valuable or every game is so valuable. So,
yeah.
I don't think Malik Willis has won the QB2 job. I just think he hasn't lost it.
Yeah.
He was given the QB2 job based off of tenure over Will Levis. He deserves it.
Yep.
It's the way it should work. The guy who is originally on the team has to lose that spot, and he hasn't. But I needed to see more improvements from preseason game 1 to preseason game 2. I just feel like it was a very lukewarm, just kind of neutral day at the office for Malik in Minnesota. I thought it was fine. Mm-hmm. He needs more than fine in order to be the starting quarterback of this team in the future, and he still hasn't shown me anything to believe he's going to hold off Levis for this entire season as the second quarterback.
You know what bothered me? Not really bothered me, but in hindsight, what we all had talked about as far as Malik's showing in Minnesota was this. We didn't get much of the offense out of him. Like, I have to ask the question, if Levis was in, what would the distribution of passing look like? Like, I think you just said a second ago, your point, Kayla, Malik gave us what we thought he should, meaning there wasn't much of the playbook I thought that was laid out for him. I would have much rather seen him be in very uncomfortable situations.
Right.
And I know the offensive line, of course, protection of him being the only up quarterback on the roster was probably one of the reasons they didn't throw the ball as often. But I would have loved to see him be in a situation where we're going to pass it every single play right here. Right. And see what his completions are like. How many passes did he have on the day? 11? 8 for 11, I think, for 80-some yards, some odd yards. That's where I say, as far as Malik being number 2, I don't know how realistic that is, because in today's game, you got to pass the ball around, and Malik didn't get that many chances at it. But we got to look at the O-line, only quarterback, and that type of thing as far as last Saturday.
10 for 17 for 85, touchdown and a pick.
Yeah. Right.
And there were a lot more pass plays than 17 called. He ran the football 11 times. That's the thing.
And, of course, all that I said, there's a pushback for every single thing.
Sure.
Well, he ran it well. Well, you also had Tajay Spears doing well. Well, you also had Julius Chestnut doing well.
Yeah, everybody was running it well.
Everybody was doing well. But as far as playing a season where Malik is number 2 and Tannehill has a hangnail, I don't want to say serious injury. He has a hangnail and he can't play. For those reasons, what will the playbook look like, or will you be behind the 8 ball trying to win a game because you don't want to open up the playbook for Malik, or Malik's style of play isn't involved at a much bigger rate as far as the selection of plays?
Let me throw one more wrench in this. Do you put Malik out there, put all this game tape out here for other people too? Like, is that anything you would ever factor? Like, oh, he played a whole game. Okay. Oh, we might be interested. Like, I'm just saying future.
I think
if they have to make a decision in the
where
future.
Malik is, I don't think you can I don't think you can expose him enough. I think he's still at the point of proving himself in this league and growing as a player, and he's checked every single box this offseason that we've asked him to. I think you can show a lot of him without giving up your entire playbook.
If you put him on the PS, though, the practice squad, does someone pick him up?
Yes.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
He's picked up soon. I'm talking about ASAP. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
There's no way he clears waiver wires at all.
I wouldn't have said that going into camp, but I will. Oh, not going into camp. That's not true. I wouldn't have said that going into OTAs and minicamp over the spring. But I will say that now.
He's got plenty of film now. That's for sure.
Think of 4 teams he can go to right now if that was the case. Miami, Philly.
Miami?
Yeah. Back up for Tua.
Okay.
Absolutely. Similar style offense, run action, quick throws, throw them out there. Philly's another one.
Yeah, they have Mariota.
Cleveland's another one.
Yeah.
I'd also throw Denver in there too.
Interesting.
You got to go to the style.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair.
It makes sense. Makes sense.
I feel like we're burying the lead, though, guys. If we're going to talk about this scrimmage, we need to know how early would you take Morgan Cox? There's only one long snapper.
Are you willing to take a staffer over a player?
There is only
615-737-1045.
one long snapper.
That's true. Is he all-time long snapper?
Is he? I'd say no. If I pick him, he's on my team. You better get an offensive line to snap.
That's
why I
honestly
took
fair.
him.
Like maybe you do practice. Like who's the emergency long snapper if Morgan Cox gets hurt? If he gets a hangnail in the middle of a game?
Who was it for you guys, Ramon, when you
don't
played?
even want to know, man.
Wasn't you? Was it?
No, it wasn't me. James Harrison.
No
way.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the most part, it was him, or we had it's usually a friggin' tight end or a linebacker that can do those types of jobs right there. It's usually a tight end a lot, but James Harrison was the emergency snapper. I actually did it in a game.
Terrified to be that holder. Break all your fingers catching that ball.
Is being a long snapper the best position in football in terms of getting all the glory? You get paid.
Yeah.
You always have a job because there aren't that many of you in the NFL. And you can look tough, but you only have to play about what? 15 plays a game?
15 plays a game.
Then again, if you mess up just one time, then you are fired.
It's so fragile. I actually had a similar conversation with Morgan on the sideline in between a break, and I was just like, man, there's certain stuff that you do watch during the game. He was like, I'm like a golfer. I was like, what are you talking about, Morgan? He's like, I can't watch the opposing team snapper. I was like, well, why?
Wow.
Tell me why. He said, I watched a guy in the game one time. He said, fling a ball back like it was just effortless. He said, and I tried to do the same thing where
And
I
it
just
didn't happen.
flopped my hands backwards. He said it was the worst snap of my entire career.
I get it.
He's like, I'll never do it again. It's like, I can't watch the opposing team snapper.
Yeah.
That I felt like was the best thing to be as a college athlete because we would be doing our core and strength stuff and like we would do our practice, which would end with like strength in the football complex because we shared the football complex with you guys. And the football practice would be going on and you could hear the horns and Butch Jones yelling on his microphone and all this crap that he was doing back then. And, you know, it's your problem now, Jonesboro, Arkansas. And the kickers and punters and long snappers would be like playing catch in the indoor facility. And they would be like doing fake field goal plays.
Yep.
Just like faking handoff. They're just playing catch. Like literally it looks like what guys do on a tailgate before they go to a football game. And I remember being so tired from practice and just like exhausted and being out in the heat. And I'm just like, this would be the life. Be the backup punter on a college football team. You get all the gear, all the glory. You get NIL for that.
Yeah, you do.
Probably even more than a really good All-American non-revenue athlete.
Yep.
Yet still, you're just out there playing catch in the indoor complex.
Or learning
be so jealous of those
foot
guys.
tricks with the ball.
I know. Coming up, Ron Slade joins us. Kayla, enjoy practice.
I will. Thank you.
We will get a report from her tomorrow morning as the Titans scrimmage today, and we talk with Slay. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Can make a rhyme anytime. Coming up next. Tuesday morning continues on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, as we are expecting to be graced with Ron Slay's presence coming up in moments. We've got a story to get to from VolQuest about a sit-down interview with Donde Plowman, Tennessee Chancellor. Perfect time to throw Ron Slay into the mix.
It is.
You guys had quite the event with Voice of the Titans Mike Keith the other night at his former high school, Battleground Academy.
It was, man.
His alma mater.
Real good time over there, too, man. Mike Keith is I'm talking about the ultimate pro. He set up me and Savage in a way that was super phenomenal. He don't ask anything of you. He just say, hey, we're going to do this thing, man. It's going to be real cool. And you know what you say to Mike Keith? All right.
Tell me when and where to be.
Yeah, all right.
Where do I sign?
Bet. Let's do it, man. But it was a real good event, man. It was the Williamson County UT alumni chapter. I was thinking
good
to myself,
people in Williamson County.
Where is the Sumner County one? why I got to come all the way down? No, but it was awesome, though. I really enjoyed it. Ron even brought it up, too. Heck, the Davidson County Tennessee alumni need to have something like that. Like I'm just
There's
saying,
a Nashville chapter.
There is a Nashville chapter?
Yeah.
All right, then.
They're actually doing a UT trivia night next week.
Ron and I didn't get the invite
UT
to that
Sports
one.
Trivia. I did.
We
They ain't really fool with us on that one.
I did.
So
You did?
No, they
I did,
didn't.
actually.
Hey, I'm like Tom. I'm like
What's up,
Tom
Slay?
Brady.
How are you?
What's
no,
up, Will?
that's beside the point right
I'm
now.
sending y'all
We
an
like
invite right
Tom
now.
Brady like now. You choose that guy? You remember
No,
Brady?
I mean,
Me and
clearly-
my dog didn't even get no.
Clearly, y'all weren't available. They went to the C listers, and then none of them were available, and they went to me on the F list. They went to the most unathletic athlete in the history of the Southeastern Conference.
I like this little seat right here.
Yeah, you're
This
changing
was
spaces.
supposed to be my seat
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
when we when they were doing the studio.
Yeah.
And, we came in to test it out and check it out, and you know what I mean, to see where we wanted to seat. And I came over and I said, you know what? I sit right here.
Yeah.
Babs, you got all that room. You can spread all your stuff out. She's like, yeah, you can just have that seat. And then when we came here to start doing the show, you know what seat she took? This one. I said, that's Babs. That's not the seat you
Fantastic.
picked. Like, what are you
What
doing?
she like Hadley?
Yeah, it's like, cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to let her go and roll with it. Ain't no need me, you know what I mean, doing nothing else.
Hey, we can jump her if you want to.
Oh my goodness.
She's battle tested.
Dawn's the type to scratch and claw, literally.
I mean, I'm going to leave her alone.
You're gonna have scratch marks everywhere.
Waiting for my phone to buzz. Like, all
Yeah.
right, little
Any
savage.
3, 2, 1. Here comes the text.
What y'all got shaking, man?
Well, we're about to get into this article about Donde Plowman sitting down with VolQuest.com,
Oh.
talking about her love of sports. Really, really cool the way Donde Plowman has embraced the sports side of things at Tennessee. Because I want to get y'all's perspective on this as Tennessee athletes who maybe were a part of regimes that weren't quite as all in the same boat, right? That was the problem at Tennessee for a while. Maybe speaking more from my time there at the beginning, was the academic side and the athletic side weren't always talking to each other. And Donde Plowman talks about how every single interview she had for this job, it was like, so do you like sports? So do you like sports? And even the governor is like, so do you like football? And every time she's like, my kids did travel everything, which if you listen to 104.5 The Zone, you know that anyone with kids that are old enough to play travel anything here all play travel anything. But essentially it was like, they played travel anything. I love it. And I love this quote, guys, of I can sit next to somebody and hate Georgia with them. You know what I mean? And they may vote differently than I do, but I love them that night. And you know, that's the part I like about it. It's good for the university and good for the state.
Yeah.
Is that there can't be a better representative for Tennessee other than, you know, you guys, Mike Keith, Peyton Manning, Donde Plowman. Like genuinely, like it's cool to see the way she's embraced athletics because that has not always been the case in the chancellor position at Tennessee.
Yeah, I echo that. Everything you just said, Will. Like, I mean, you get that vibe from her when you meet her, when you talk to her, when you see her interact with just the students, not only the student athletes. It's always trying to pull people together. You know what I mean? Uniting people. And I think that's what you see. It's a trickle down to all the sports. That's what it's about. When you go get a coach, you go get an AD that can have those same thoughts and, you know, everybody be pulling in the same direction and have people that have expertise in different fields but all come together as one. Like, Danny White, man, gonna go get it. You know what I'm saying? Go at all costs. Let's go get it done. Whatever we got to do. Donnie Plowman, she pulls everybody together. It helps unite it. The coaches, they stand hand in hand and cheer each other teams on, and they make their teams understand what it's about to go out and show support for other teams in the athletics, not only men's but women's as well. And that's great, dog. And it all comes from Chancellor Plowman. And it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Love what she does.
Absolutely, man. And just always, anytime you see her, she's always open.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing about it. Like, I don't know if we had it this open at UT as far as like from top to bottom. I feel like our era of coaches did get along. But I do remember the ice starting to break a little bit when it came down to the communication with the professors.
Yeah.
I mean, that breakdown right there. And now just hearing her speak about how, they're getting professors in that are excited to be at UT. Like, that plays a part in your success, too.
Absolutely does. You look at it, that was huge for us. Doug Dickey had, like, you better be on board. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Absolutely.
We need to have a conversation if you're not, because these folks got to be doing what they're supposed to do, and if they do what they're supposed to do, you as a teacher got to do what you're supposed to do. Right. Yeah. He was holding everybody accountable. So I love it. I'll tell you another thing that you get to see, Will. You saw it firsthand. I don't know if that was your first time meeting her, but remember when we went down to the LSU game?
Yeah.
And we were there early in the morning, and Will was like, man, here come Plowman in them right now. He was like, man, I wonder if we can get them on. I said, watch this. Yeah. All she got to do is see us, and it's on. They sprinted up there. You know what I'm saying? So it's all love, man. It's all love.
The thing that stuck out to me about that trip specifically was we hung around for a while after the game at LSU. And that corner tunnel where Tennessee runs out where their locker room is, everyone is just congregating there. And Tennessee fans took over Tiger Stadium and were chanting, great to be at Tennessee ball, like everything else. They're getting last call at daiquiri stands and everything at LSU, which were very tasty, by the way, because the LSU fan did not kick that over, unlike the beers that Ron Slay had. Anyway, but we're standing there, and Slay is talking to Danny White, and, assistant coaches are walking by, and their PR people are talking to you guys, and, my dad, my brother there, and I'm standing over a little bit by myself, just right behind y'all. And not her PR person, not anyone else. Dondi Plowman walks up to me personally and shakes my hand and says, thank you so much for what you guys do. Like, it's so nice to connect with you guys. Thank you for coming down here and partnering with us on this stuff and doing that show. And I'm like, I'm not the one that you need to be coming to. Like, Ron Slay is SEC Player of the Year. Like, he's the one with the headband. Like, I'm just a guy that opened up the microphone and said, hey, this is Ron Slay. He's going to talk about the Tennessee game now and ask you a couple questions. Like, I ain't nothing. And she came over to me personally, said, that level of attention to detail, and, talking to Danny White and mentioned, I was an athlete here. And he says, what do you think about our new track coach? Like, I love, the guy we just hired and all this stuff. Like, that attention to detail is so different from Slay. I know I've told you the story. Ramon, I don't know if I've told you this one, of when I had my first time telling teachers, like, hey, these are the days I'm going to have to travel for the first season. And I had public speaking. And at this point at UT, they gave you a letter that you would give to all your teachers in the first day of class to say, hey, here's my travel letter. This is signed by the athletic director and Dr. Joe, I think it was Dr. Joe at that point, the student athlete, advisory, academic liaison, to say I'm excused. And this public speaking teacher was like, well, you're going to get a 0 if you're not here.
That's simple.
And I was like, what? She was like, no, you're going to get a 0 if you can't give a speech on a day where you're traveling. That's the rule. And I was like, I'm literally giving you a letter to tell you that's not the rule.
No, this ain't, you ain't going to be my teacher.
Literally, I was like, what do we, that, things like that were happening. This was 2015 fall. And I don't think that stuff's happening anymore.
Let's peel back the curtains on that then, too. Let's be honest about what sports mean to a university, too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's budget for the season. It's like being able to recruit teachers. I didn't realize that was a thing until recently. Getting professors on your campus is a matter of the admission rate. It's a matter of the popularity of your university, too, and the type of student that you recruit, too. Yep. I was listening, I read that article last night, and Dondi Plowman speaking about the engineering program that UT has. It's top 4, and they're in all these contests. They're getting potentially getting grants that you don't get. Well, those grants means those professors want to be at your university to teach those courses too for that research and whatnot. So the lifeline of that, it ain't just enrollment fees.
Yeah.
It's the production of your athletics department. And because athletics plays a huge part into the funding of universities, professors have to kind of understand the scheduling of athletes too. Not that you're going to, you get an A if you miss. But the idea that I get an opportunity to take the test separately, that matters too.
Yeah, right.
Hey, man, y'all producer is an idiot.
Well, your producers in the F&M Bank chat talking right now.
Both of these producers. Both of those producers are
Joe
idiots.
Hunk is on the F&M Bank chat YouTube page. Surely that is Joe and not anyone else typing for him.
It said, hey, I'm not Joe Hunk, but I don't know what Joe Hunk is doing. But
Crazy the things that happen when Ron Slay sits in front of a different computer in this station.
Dude, I listen. To your point, Savage, I was telling some kids, I spoke to some kids for breakfast Saturday and was telling them, when you get to that point, like high school, especially college, like if you can have open dialogue with your professors and communicate with them, they don't want to be the reason that you're left behind.
Right.
You know, if they got any kind of soul, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they can be a stickler and just like, hey, you got to do it like this, but they don't want to be the reason that you can't participate in sports. Not if you're putting forth that effort.
Right.
So you just got to go and talk. So to your point, they got to be involved in it. They got to have some sense of what's going on in the community, in the school community, outside it, all of that, man. Or you just a blind squirrel, I guess.
That's right.
A blind squirrel.
I don't know what that means, but whatever that means.
Speaking of squirrel white, we'll transition to the actual athletes too.
Hey, look at Savage.
A blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then.
There we go.
Look at them nuts.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Never mind.
We are
Let's go, baby.
Top 6 recruiting class right now. Top 10. We'll go top 10.
Just knocking on the door.
Jordan Ross added yesterday.
Yeah.
5-star edge rusher, according to 247.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 edge rusher in the country from Vestavia Hills High School, by the way, which is a big school in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
You go down there, you're taken away from Alabama and Auburn.
That's a nice area too.
Real
nice. Big old schools
Oh my
down there,
gosh.
Savage. Goodness.
Yeah.
Slay, at this point of the countdown to Tennessee football, we're 12 days away?
Yes.
At this point? Actually, less than that.
Yeah, baby.
I think I'm bad at math. I think we're 11 days
It don't
away.
even matter. We close.
However long it is.
Yeah.
We're a week away from game week. What is the storyline you are most interested in, not named Joe Milton, about this Tennessee football team moving forward into week number 1 against the University of Virginia?
O-line execution and the defensive secondary.
Okay.
I think that's where I know you got holes that you got to fill on the D-line, but I'm just confident that Coach Gardner has those guys running like a well-oiled machine. But that secondary, the guys grow up with the experience that they were able to play with last year. Do you have to keep taking chances, or can you play solid D without giving up the big score? You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt last year they had to take chances that they not necessarily needed to, but they had to because you, in a sense, couldn't stop anybody. You know, so can you hold up this time without taking those chances and those guys grow up? Who's going to be the leader coming out of that secondary bunch? A lot of young guys, but you got to be able to take a step at some point. And then that O-line, man, I think a lot falls on them. Almost similar to what the Titans got going on. You know what I'm saying? As far as a new bunch, guys coming together. Of course, you got Mays right there trying to, hold it all together once he gets back healthy. But outside of that, man, you got guys, you lost some pros.
Yeah, you did.
You know what I'm saying? And that pocket is everything to the offense. Everything. So that offensive line, that's going to be my takeaway, especially coming into game 1, game 2, and just keep continuing to build and see some success from them.
How much do you think we see, and it is 11 days, by the way, until Tennessee football, just 100 days?
11 beers on the wall.
Take one down, pass it around. How much do we see Nico Iamaleava against Virginia?
I think you see a good quarter out of him. maybe a quarter and a half if Tennessee does what we expect them to do.
Right.
And that's blow the socks off Virginia. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Come on with
Virginia do to you?
Nothing existed.
Just stood in the way?
No, just existed. That's all.
You know, real quick, my brother and I will always talk about this. So I'll be like, man, I hate Purdue. And he's like, why do you hate Purdue? I'm like, they knocked us out of the NCAA tournament on a phantom Carson Edwards sticking out his leg call. He's like, okay, that's not their fault. I'm like, yeah, it is. They were in our way. What are you talking about?
It's most definitely
Like, if
their
we're
fault.
playing a team this weekend, I hate that team. What are we doing? What are we talking about?
Yeah, you're
Anyway,
absolutely
so
right. They got me in the Jimmy V Classic, man. Spanked us before we went to go spank Syracuse. So
do they have 7'3" Eastern Europeans at that point?
No,
too?
not at that point. Not at that. But they had one of my best friends, Travis Watson. We went to Oak Hill Academy together, and he was a freshman on their team. So that was a battle I didn't want to lose. We ended up losing that one, but I always got a sour taste with Virginia. So yeah, I want to see them spanked up any opportunity they get. Yeah, but other than that, I'm here for it, Will.
Tell you who else want to see them spanked up.
Who?
Danny White.
He don't mind. He don't mind at all.
What you think of that last
I
night?
love that.
I know you
I love
did.
that. And guess what? That's him.
It is.
And it ain't like it's not like he's playing like he got to take the mask off to be like, oh, okay, let me get dirt. No, man, that's him all the time. That man's savvy. That man's and like he said, I ignored it the first time, but you keep on coming around my yard. Like I'm just, I got a what's the name for y'all too today. You're not that guy. Yeah, I got one. So it's pertaining to this, man. Like you kind of not that guy to just keep creeping around my yard. You know what I'm saying? Like Bert do with the dude that don't cut their grass over there in his neighborhood. Oh, yeah, like dog, man, quit throwing trash and stuff. But I understand I ain't cutting my grass, man. I'm gonna get it right. Dude, I'm paying attention to you. That's what Danny White's saying. You want some attention? You got some attention. Here it is now. So when this little pellet gun hits you in the back, you're gonna know. Yeah, we'll do a little Orby gun. You're gonna know to stay off my lawn, buddy. So yeah, man.
And you're right though too. If you've all been around Danny White and all us have, you talk to him, you understand he didn't play that up.
Nah.
He
that's him.
I don't want to call him he's a savage.
Yeah, every bit of it. Every bit of it, dog.
I remember Stephen Godfrey, when he was hired, said he is the perfect kind of gangster that Tennessee needs at that position. You got to be a little bit of a gangster to raise money and be an athletic director in today's college football world in the SEC. Otherwise, you end up without a conference, and your conference folds, and you're sitting there looking around like half the Pac-12 is right now.
Yeah. With success come, you ain't trying to be friends. If you're going to be friends, then y'all can all go to the picnic together. If you ain't going to be nobody friend, you can get everybody invited to come to your party.
Right.
Damn, a picnic. Y'all had that picnic. That's over there for good stuff. We partying over here. You might can't get in.
Tough day to be a picnic lover in Nashville, Tennessee.
Dude, different, man.
I had somebody say this in a group chat. I won't name the guy, but he said all real gangsters are gentlemen too.
Hey, I'm telling you. Hey, and guess what though? I get and they wear skirts sometimes too. Cause this one over there, I'm gonna give her props over there, Vandy too.
Yeah.
Candace ain't playing either.
No. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
they
just gotta get behind her. God, boy.
I know.
I ain't even gonna go there.
I know you was about to go there.
You probably heard that. He didn't think I was serious yesterday when I was saying if I wasn't going to Atlanta, I would go to the Vandy Hawaii game Saturday.
I don't know if I go. I definitely will watch though. I'm definitely gonna watch.
100%.
I like Paul.
His reasons were different.
Okay.
Let's get into it coming up next from OK Little World with Ron Slay at 104.5 The Zone. One final segment of the show this morning on Remote Kayla and Will. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Ron Slay is here.
I'm in the building.
Yes, you are.
Man.
You know who's not in the Titans building anymore? There's two kickers. Breaking Titans news, courtesy of Jim Wyatt.
First of all, that ain't funny.
Jeremy Fowler.
People getting fired.
They can go kick it somewhere else. Literally. The Titans have agreed to terms with veteran kicker Michael Badgley. The team has also released Caleb Shudak and Trey Wolf, who had been competing in training camp. The Money Badger was released by the Lions and Commanders recently. When we said yesterday that the Titans kicker for this season is not currently on the roster, that was correct.
It was correct.
So what are they going to do in the scrimmage today? There's only got one kicker.
All-time kicker.
Nah, heck nah. You're going to get Stonehouse to kick your field goal. I don't play that. We're going to have a half-ass competition. No. If you want a kicker, you draft him.
Listen, Big T taking that one.
Yeah, Big T got he got royalties over there.
Yeah, Morgan Cox. Is Morgan Cox now a package deal with Michael Badgley?
Oh, man.
Maybe whoever gets Morgan Cox has to have the backup kicker. And then whoever has Michael Badgley gets
the backup long snapper.
You know, maybe it's Jeffrey Simmons for all we know. Maybe it's Ramon Foster. They might pull him out there today.
I might do it.
Honestly, it's probably Mason Kinsey. Because that guy does everything that no one else wants to do.
That's right.
He does.
Including cheer for Georgia as a member of the Titans.
Like backup quarterback.
Mason Kinsey.
Preseason game.
I mean, well, hey, there we go.
You gotta show your ability, man.
We got to pay off a tab, too.
What's that?
It's Will Lee.
What Will Lee got going?
He was saying that he'd go to a game if it was $5 and they was in the SEC.
Well, okay. No.
That's what you
Vandy
said.
is in the SEC.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, yeah, no, I see what you mean. Okay, I'm just working it through. I said, if I was in town Saturday, I would go to the Vanderbilt game.
What else did you say after that?
Because it's cheap.
Okay.
And it's college
There
football
we go.
in town for cheap. How much do you think the cheapest ticket is right now for Vandy Hawaii Slay? Right now.
About 40.
$40?
$30, $40.
Why are you so surprised?
You send the whole family for
SEC,
that.
darn.
I know.
Slay, the cheapest ticket on the resale marketplace for Vandy Hawaii is $8.
Wow.
Yeah,
You can sit in Section B, row 58, Section F, row 24,
You know, high school games are more than that.
Section Q, row 41.
They are.
They are. They're usually high school games are $10.
Go ahead and book us a suite. Who got the pull to get us a suite over there?
Cool $70.
I'm telling you, bring the whole
stocked in
game.
there too. That'd be full of stock.
Y'all didn't used to be this way.
No, dog. No, that ain't funny. I ain't laughing at that.
That's what I'm
That's a great
saying.
deal.
I was saying yesterday, like I was being totally serious. Yeah, I'm sure the Vandy accounts that hide behind fake names and have podcasts, because everyone has a podcast now, will come at me for this. But like, I'm serious. It is affordable college football in Nashville this weekend. Go to the game. I don't care who you cheer for.
I bet on them. I bet more
As
than
you
the
should.
ticket costs.
You should bet the over on their wins. You should bet on them. Like, I like what Clark Lee is doing at Vanderbilt.
I love it.
I think he's doing a good job. I think he's totally, literally, like, basically stripping down everything of Vanderbilt football and rebuilding it.
Baseball tickets
literally.
are way more expensive than that. And basketball.
I paid $150 to see Tennessee sweep Vandy in Hawkins Field last year
put that
in
somewhere.
Why
Nashville.
you have to say it?
It was game 3. What? They
Why
swept
you gotta
Vandy.
say it like
you
that,
do you
though?
not want me to report what happened? Am I not a Big J journalist too?
Yes, you are, okay?
Thank you.
Can I save you from the Vandy fandom and broach you guys with a rumor, a little sports rumor?
no.
So last week, while we were in Minnesota, the whole topic of the whole week was who is the new man in Minnesota. We talked about
New man in Minnesota,
Lizzo's song "Truth Hurts." Well, now there's a rumor out about who that man was. The rumor is that it was Dalvin Cook, and they wonder if that is what explains his early career knee issues. Don't y'all laugh. Stop laughing. Stop laughing. What I would be asking about is who says that a running back can't carry a franchise?
Hey, boy,
I swear.
Hey, boy.
When Lizzo was asked about this, she replied she can't resist a good cook.
Oh, my gosh.
That's your rumor minute.
You used to be way better than this, Bert.
Rumors with Robert is now going to be a daily segment on Remote Kayla.
Look at Ron. He ain't got nothing right now.
Crazy, man. You're doing that crazy, man.
You got nothing
Doing
right
that
now.
crazy.
He is. Is that why him and his old lady got into a fight?
Robert Mers.
Must be. Must be.
Rob Mers.
I was going to say RKW rumors.
Oh, my God.
He's like, Will is like, I do not want my name attached to anything that comes out of your mouth.
By the way, though, I will.
Maybe he liked the flute.
I will say this as it pertains to Vandy. They are really good when it comes to online hate towards the Vols, but
Yes,
I will charge them, though, as a saying, a ticket being $8 for a season opener, there should be a little bit more. I let you remember I jumped on the box a couple years ago as a young amateur in this business and said, y'all got to do better in supporting that university. Right here in this city, there should be 28,000 people.
In this city.
At
Without
that stadium.
question. Yep.
It should be.
SEC.
Can you
I'm with
imagine if
you.
Neelam dropped down to 28,000, how expensive them tickets would be?
What?
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, my gosh.
The tickets for, Georgia
It'd be like Geodis Park was.
It would.
Saturday.
Georgia is coming to Vandy this year. They play in Nashville.
Are? Oh, wow.
This season.
I remember I went there the last time Georgia came, and I went the last time LSU came too, and that tailgate is crazy.
Insane.
With their fans.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like Vandy still shows up, but it's like flooded with the opponent.
Wild.
Yeah.
Couldn't be my team.
Anyway,
Man, I had a good. You're not that guy too, man.
Did you?
It was about a crackhead.
Oh, okay. 3HL is when you can hear that. Ron Slay, 3 to 6. He'll be there, and the roof on the studio will be lost then as well.
I ain't lying either.
I don't know what just happened to finish this show. Maybe we'll find out by tomorrow morning.
I'm going to listen to RKW this evening and figure out what the crackhead did.
All right. They're roaming
You
in the
got to
streets,
remember, man, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.
X fingers.